Chapter 852. A few days later, the flying ship once again stopped on a square. After getting off the airship, Ningqing looked at the layout of the public square and finally understood why the Boundary Essence Spirit Sea City's public square was arranged like this. It was a simulation of the layout of this place. There was more than one public square here. Ningqing saw dozens of large and small public squares. There was a teleportation array in the middle of every square, and at the edge of the square were some merchant houses. Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, the teleportation array to the Grand Essence Ruins is over there. Nalan Wuxia came to Ningqing's side and pointed to a large public square not far away. Even without Nalan Wuxia's words, Ningqing had already seen the transmission array. At the edge of the public square, there was a huge array formation screen with the words Grand Essence Ruins written on it. Price: 80,000 high-grade spirit crystals. Even with such a high price, there were still people who paid the divine crystals and were teleported away. Moreover, Ningqing also noticed that most of the cultivators coming out of the other teleportation arrays were heading towards the Grand Essence Ruins teleportation array. One could even say that this teleportation array was the most lively. It was no wonder that a group of teleportation formations had to be built here. This was simply a divine crystal collector. Ningqing and Nalan Wuxia arrived at the Grand Essence Ruins teleportation array and lined up to pay 160,000 high-grade spirit crystals before waiting for the transfer. 2 hours later, Yemo and Nalan Wuxia followed more than 10 people onto the teleportation formation. The transmission array quickly activated. Ningqing was proficient in the Tao of array formations and had studied transmission arrays for quite some time. As soon as he activated the teleportation array to the Grand Essence Ruins, he understood that it was a long-distance teleportation. However, under such a long-distance teleportation, he didn't feel the slightest bit of dizziness. This showed how powerful the array master who built this teleportation array was. In less than half an incense stick worth of time, Ningqing and Nalan Wuxia appeared in a teleportation array within a large hall. The two of them followed the crowd out of the main hall and were stunned by the prosperity in front of them. How was this the periphery of a ruin? This was simply a super prosperous starry sky city. The huge plaza, the densely packed commercial buildings, the city square, and countless people. No matter how lively and bustling this place was, no matter how many people there were, it couldn't block the huge words Grand Essence Ruins Quest Hall. The Quest Hall stood tall in the middle of the largest public square, with many cultivators entering and exiting it. Strange. Unexpectedly, no one came to rent out their immortal caves. Ningqing looked at the cultivators coming and going, as he muttered to himself with some doubts. In such a crowded place, renting a cave abode was naturally the best business. Logically speaking, someone would take the initiative to rent a cave abode at the exit of the teleportation array. Is this friend's first time in the Grand Essence Ruins? Does he still need to rent a cave in the Grand Essence Ruins? There was simply not enough supply to meet the demand. If he wanted to rent a cave abode, he would go there. However, it was difficult to rent a good one. If you have a high-level quest card, then you can rent a higher-level immortal cave. A cultivator standing not far from Ningqing spoke with a smile, while simultaneously pointing his finger to the opposite side of the square. Thanks a lot. Ningqing cupped his fists and thanked him. As for what the quest card was, Ningqing did not know and did not specifically ask about it. He believed that as long as he entered the mission hall, he would be able to inquire about it. Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, are we going to rent a cave? Nalan Wuxia asked. Ningqing looked at the opposite side and spoke. Let's go and have a look later. Let's go to the quest hall first and ask about the situation. Walking into the quest hall, everyone's eyes were filled with people. In a part of the quest hall, there were also some rest stops and restaurants. Nearly 100 huge array formation screens stood in the middle of the quest hall. Moreover, the areas of these array formation screens were clearly divided. Divine Grass's quest screen, Spirit Technique quest screen, Artifacts quest screen, Materials quest screen, Teams quest screen. There were all kinds of quests, and each category of quests was divided into several levels. Even Divine Grasses were divided into top grade, high grade, mid grade, low grade, and so on. Ningqing looked at the low grade quests and found that the lowest grade quests only had a few points. but the top-grade quests even had more than 1,000,000 points. There were also a few quests that didn't have any points written on them. Obviously, these quests were ridiculously high-grade, and the points were set according to the needs of the person who completed the quests. Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, why don't we take a few quests and put up a quest to find Senior Apprentice Sister Yanji? Nalan Rushua suggested. Ningcheng understood what Nalan Rushua meant. To put up a quest, one must first have points. If one didn't even have points, how could one post a quest? Wait, let's take a look at the quests first. Ningcheng was just about to sweep out with his spiritual consciousness when he felt a few extremely powerful spiritual consciousnesses sweep past him. He quickly and carefully retracted his spiritual consciousness. These spiritual consciousnesses were too powerful, several times stronger than the fellow he killed with the 5-colored star splitter arrow a few months ago. Thinking about how the Grand Essence ruins even had second-step Dao confirming powerhouses, Ningcheng became even more cautious and didn't sweep out with his spiritual consciousness. After walking around the quest hall for a long time, he and Nalan Rushua finally gained a general understanding of the place, and finally understood what a quest card was. To pick up a quest in the quest hall, one had to first apply for a Great Cosmological Abyss quest card. There were 5 kinds of Great Cosmological Abyss quest cards, namely Purple Card, Gold Card, Silver Card, White Card, and Black Card. Quest cards could be used to record points, trade tasks, or trade points with each other. The Black Card was the lowest level, and anyone could apply for it as long as they paid 1,000 spirit crystals. If one's transaction points with the quest hall reached 100,000 points, one could apply for a White Card. These transaction points weren't the remaining points in the quest card, but the transaction points with the quest hall. Even if one obtained 100,000 points, one couldn't exchange for a White Card without completing the transaction. Only by spending the 100,000 points would one be eligible to exchange for a White Card. Of course, this transaction had to be with the quest hall. If it was a transaction between cultivators, even 1,000,000 points wouldn't be counted. Exchanging a White Card for a Silver Card required a transaction of 1,000,000 points, while exchanging a Silver Card for a Gold Card required a transaction of 10,000,000 points. As for a Purple Card, it required a transaction of 100,000,000 points. The level of the quest card indicated one's status in the Grand Essence ruins. The higher the level of the quest card, the more precious the things one could trade in the quest hall's merchant house. Next to the Grand Essence ruins quest hall, there was a quest hall's merchant house. This quest hall's merchant house had 5 color floors: black, white, silver, gold, and purple. If one only had a black card, one could only trade on the first black floor. The higher the floor, the higher the grade of the things inside. Ningcheng and Nalan Rushua had just arrived in the Grand Essence ruins, and could only apply for a black card each. The black card was only half the size of a palm, and it mainly recorded the task points and transaction points. Come on, let's go pick up a task. I just saw an Ice-type spirit technique, the Violent Ice Sea, in the Grand Essence ruins Defying Ice Mound ruins. Let's go to the Defying Ice Mound. Maybe we can find this spirit technique if we're lucky. Ningcheng didn't choose to go to the Defying Ice Mound on a whim. Instead, he saw that Nalan Rushua had already stepped into the heaven-seated realm of Destiny's 3 realms. However, she didn't seem to have any spirit techniques. Plus, Nalan Rushua had a mutated ice-type spiritual root. Therefore, he might as well help her. For Ningcheng, picking up a task was just a convenience. In addition to looking for Yanji in the Grand Essence ruins, he also wanted to advance further. It would be best if he could reach Dao confirming here. Nalan Rushua froze for a moment. She immediately thought that Ningcheng might be helping her. But she still couldn't believe it and spoke up. Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, but that's a high-ranked task. Although the task points were good, and the spirit techniques were also very tempting, the dangers of high-ranked tasks were obvious. I know it's a high-ranked task. Let's go and have a look. It doesn't matter if we can't complete it. Ningcheng nodded. If more people took on the same task, it wouldn't affect them even if they couldn't complete it. In fact, they could even take on the same task after completing it. In fact, most cultivators wouldn't take on a task first. Instead, they would complete the task first. Only those tasks that were easy to complete, with high points, or those with prepaid fees, would take on the task first. This Tao friend, I think you might as well go to the Grand Essence 7 Bridges instead of taking on the Defying Ice Mounds task. Finding the Extreme Violent Ice Sea Spirit technique only gives you 10,000 points, which is considered low among high-ranked tasks. But in the Grand Essence 7 Bridges, any random task would give you 100,000 points. Moreover, for every additional task, the points would double. A cultivator next to him spoke up with good intentions. Grand Essence 7 Bridges? Ningqing felt shocked. The cultivator replied, "That's right. It's an old task and many people go there. Although it's a top-grade task, it's safer than the Defying Ice Mounds task. Moreover, I heard that you can even cultivate spirit techniques in the Grand Essence 7 Bridges ruins." Ningqing's spiritual consciousness had already fallen on the high-ranked task screen, and he immediately saw the Grand Essence 7 Bridges. In this task, finding any of the specified spirit techniques would earn him 100,000 points. If he found 2 spirit techniques, he would earn 200,000 points, and if he found 3 spirit techniques, he would earn 400,000 points. If he found all 7 spirit techniques, he would earn 4 million points, which was even more than finding the complete Grand Essence Spirit Thunder Spirit technique. Many thanks, Tao friend, for reminding me. Ningqing quickly thanked him, but his heart still pounded wildly. He didn't expect to see the Grand Essence 7 Bridges here. He even felt 90% sure that the Grand Essence 7 Bridges Spirit technique was the wordless Heavenly Book's 7 Bridges Spirit technique that he couldn't cultivate. He didn't find any trace of the 7 Bridges Spirit technique. But now, he might have found the origin of this spirit technique in the Grand Essence ruins. Maybe he could learn the 7 Bridges Spirit technique in the Grand Essence ruins. Ningqing now had Sunset's Twilight, Maximal Flame, Time Wheel, None to Depend on, Traceless Spear, and other spirit techniques. But once he met a real powerhouse, his real trump card was the 5-colored Star Splitter Arrow. The main reason was that his understanding of the laws had just started. Moreover, these spirit techniques still lacked the foundation to deal with real powerhouses. The 7 Bridges Spirit technique was a series. What would happen if he learned this spirit technique? Maybe he wouldn't have to shoot the 5-colored Star Splitter Arrow every time. Junior Apprentice Sister Wuxia, let's go to the Defying Ice Mound first, and then to the Grand Essence 7 Bridges. Ningqing didn't even bother to pick up the task. Instead, he took Nalan Wuxia and prepared to enter the Grand Essence ruins. Chapter 853. The entrance to the Grand Essence ruins was large, but it didn't have any array formations blocking it. Therefore, anyone could go in. Most cultivators who entered the Grand Essence ruins formed a team of at least 4 people. 3 people were rare, not to mention Ningqing and Nalan Wuxia. For cultivators like Ningqing and Nalan Wuxia who had just arrived, if they didn't take the initiative to find other people to team up with them, few people would take the initiative to find them. The two didn't know much about the rules of the Grand Essence ruins. Besides, Ningqing wanted to go to the Grand Essence 7 Bridges, so he didn't want to team up with others. After purchasing the latest map of the Grand Essence ruins, he took Nalan Wuxia and followed the other cultivators into the Grand Essence ruins. The airship only flew for a day before its speed slowed down. Ningqing knew what was going on. The various laws in the Grand Essence ruins were chaotic, which made it difficult for ordinary airships to fly at high speeds. Ningqing didn't want to bring out the Starry Sky Wheel, so he could only use celestial essence like other cultivators. Ningqing passed through a path of ruins, collapsed mountains and crisscrossed ravines. Some places even had dead tree roots pointing upwards. Apparently, the entire ground had been turned upside down. No one knew how many tens of thousands of years these tree roots had survived, but they hadn't completely withered. A few more days passed, and Ningqing and Nalan Wuxia's spiritual consciousnesses couldn't see a single person. From this, one could see the vastness of the Grand Essence ruins. No matter how many cultivators came in, they would just be a drop of water in the Grand Essence ruins. At this point, they could see some worthless fragments of broken weapons, as well as piles of building ruins. It seemed that countless years ago, this place had once been a glorious and lively starry sky city. Ningqing's spiritual consciousness swept through the ruins, but couldn't find anything of value. Most likely, this place had already been turned over countless times by those who came before. Continuing to follow the directions on the jade strip map for another 2 days, the two stopped at the entrance of a sloping ice valley. From here, they could clearly hear the whimpering sounds coming from the ice valley, and some of the overflowing icy aura made Nalan Rushua shiver subconsciously. At the edge of the sloping entrance, there was a huge ice sculpture lying on the ground. The ice sculpture had cracks all over it, and it only had one leg and one arm. The aura inside the defying ice mound is so cold. Although Nalan Rushua wasn't a body-forging cultivator, she was still a heaven-seated cultivator. Even before she entered the defying ice mound, she already felt a bit cold. Ningcheng hesitated before speaking. If you can't bear it, you can enter my true spirit world. Nalan Rushua refused without hesitation. No need. I went to the starry skies from heaven's way alone, and wandered around the starry skies. Only then did I realize that sometimes tempering is more useful than hiding in seclusion in the sect. In fact, after entering the starry sky, she, Nalan Rushua, was no longer the pampered child of the thoughtless academy. Instead, she became an ordinary starry sky rogue cultivator, a starry sky wanderer. Her harvest from wandering the starry sky for all these years was more than 10 times better than when she was in the thoughtless clan. More importantly, her will was firmer. In the past, she would never have thought that she would be able to do this. Ningcheng hadn't even had the time to say anything when several figures descended. 2 men and 2 women, for cultivators, appeared in front of Ningcheng and Nalan Rushua. All 4 of them were eternal cultivators, and one of them, a gray-robed woman, had already reached the full circle of the eternal realm. A male cultivator with a star on his forehead was at the late-stage eternal realm, while the other man and woman were at the early-stage eternal realm. Are you also going to the defying ice mound? The gray-robed female cultivator's gaze swept over Ningcheng and Nalan Rushua, before asking with some surprise. Yes, we're going to the defying ice mound. Ningcheng nodded. This gray-robed female cultivator wore an old-fashioned dress, and her color looked dull. She didn't seem to want to show off her appearance. But in fact, her appearance didn't lose out to Nalan Rushua's. She shook her head. I advise you not to go in. This junior apprentice sister's cultivation is only at the early stage heaven-seated realm, and it's not even stable. Entering the defying ice mound with such cultivation would only result in death. Although the defying ice mound has many good things, it would be useless if you lose your life. Ningcheng didn't respond to her words. He knew that this gray-robed female cultivator's words were unpleasant to hear, but she had good intentions. Nalan Rushua quickly bowed and said, "Many thanks for this senior apprentice sister's kind reminder." After the gray-robed female cultivator finished speaking, she didn't care about Ningcheng and Nalan Rushua, and directly rushed into the defying ice mound. Senior apprentice brother Ning. Nalan Rushua looked at Ningcheng with some embarrassment. She wasn't afraid of death, but she was afraid of implicating Ningcheng. Ningcheng showed an indifferent smile. Let's go. Don't tell me we can't go in just because someone said a few words. The gray-robed female cultivator's spiritual consciousness swept out, and found Ningcheng and Nalan Rushua still following them into the defying ice mound. Shaking her head, she wasn't in the mood to care about it anymore. She had reminded them out of kindness, but if they didn't accept her kindness, then what else could she say? Sister Ning, they don't appreciate it. There's no need to worry about such people. The early-stage eternal female cultivator next to the gray-robed female cultivator saw the gray-robed female cultivator shake her head, and took the initiative to speak up. The gray-robed female cultivator smiled. I don't need to worry about them. It's just that it's not easy to cultivate to the heaven-seated realm. It's not worth it to lose your life in this place because of reaching beyond your grasp. As far as I know, the tasks to enter the defying ice mound are all high-grade tasks. If a heaven-seated cultivator enters this place, it would only result in death. Forget it, we're about to enter the ice mound. Everyone, pay attention and bring out your defensive weapons. Without the reminder from the gray-robed female cultivator, the other 3 had already brought out their defensive weapons and moved with even more caution. Woo-woo. Bursts of ice-cold blade lights swept over with a whimpering sound, and these ice-cold blade lights struck the defensive weapons of the four. Even if the four brought out all their defensive weapons, they still couldn't help but shiver a few times in the face of these ice-cold blade lights. The ice-cold blade lights here are very powerful. The early-stage Eternal Cultivator, who walked at the back, spoke up in surprise. The gray-robed female cultivator spoke up with a cautious tone. The ice-cold blade lights of the Defying Ice Mound contain ice-attributed laws. Even if it's cold in other cold places, it wouldn't be as powerful as the ice-cold blades containing the Tao charm of these laws. This is a good place to comprehend ice-attributed laws, but it's also very easy to get sucked into these laws. Everyone be careful. The gray-robed female cultivator had just finished speaking when a terrifying roar erupted, and a deathly suppressive feeling swept over the four. Not good, it's the Defying Ice Storm. Run. The gray-robed female cultivator finished speaking and rushed out diagonally. Even without the gray-robed female cultivator's explanation, the others already understood the power of the Defying Ice Mound's Defying Ice Storm. The laws of this Defying Ice Storm were chaotic. Moreover, because of the large-scale eruption, the impact was extremely violent. There was no way to resist it directly. If ordinary Eternal Cultivators got sucked into this Defying Ice Storm, only death would await them. Boom boom boom. The Defying Ice Storm containing the ice-attributed laws swept past the four like an avalanche. After an incense stick worth of time, the most violent Defying Ice Storm finally passed, but the Defying Ice Blade lights still kept sweeping over. As the Defying Ice Storm moved in a straight line, the gray-robed female cultivator's group of four hid in a corner of the ice cliff and managed to escape. However, these Defying Ice Blade lights had no direction. The four of them had to join forces to bring out their defensive weapons to block the endless Defying Ice Blade lights. I'm afraid we're in some danger today. The gray-robed female cultivator looked at the endless ice-attributed laws hitting their defensive weapons, and spoke with a solemn tone. The others didn't speak. Before coming to the Defying Ice Mound, they already knew about the Defying Ice Storm. It's just that they didn't expect their luck to be so bad that they encountered the Defying Ice Storm. Generally, after the Defying Ice Storm passed, the ice-attributed laws would continue for several days, or even months. If the four of them hid in this corner, they might be able to hold on for a few days. But they couldn't even think about blocking the ice-attributed laws for a few months. If these Defying Ice Blade lights don't dissipate after 3 days, we can only rush out together. The late-stage Eternal Male Cultivator with a star on his forehead spoke up. Hiding in the corner of the ice cliff to resist these Defying Ice Blade lights was much easier than rushing out. With a rumbling sound, Ningqing immediately felt the ice-attributed law's blade lights. Nalan Rushua shuddered. Even before the ice-attributed laws swept over, she couldn't bear it. Nalan Rushua saw the terrifying Defying Ice Storm rushing towards her. But she only had time to say one word before the law-attributed aura locked onto her. She couldn't speak anymore. Boom boom boom. The Defying Ice Storm rolled up endless ice-attributed laws blades and shot over. Nalan Rushua only felt herself drowning in these ice-attributed laws blades. Not to mention resisting, she couldn't even stand. Am I okay? Nalan Rushua soon saw a huge thunder city protecting her and Ningqing. When the Defying Ice Storm blade lights slammed into the thunder city, it triggered ice law fragments and lightning arcs that looked like flowers scattered by a celestial maiden. Ningqing's luck wasn't as good as the gray-robed female cultivators, and he couldn't find a place to hide in time. Moreover, he didn't know how powerful the Defying Ice Storm was. At least, he didn't know about it before using the everlasting Blue Thunder Fort. When the Defying Ice Storm's violent ice-attributed laws slammed into the everlasting Blue Thunder Fort, Ningqing almost lost control of the Blue Thunder Fort. The violent ice-attributed law storm directly blasted open a gap in the Blue Thunder Fort, and several ice-attributed law blade lights rushed in. Fortunately, Ningqing stood in front of Nalan Rushua. Therefore, these violent ice-attributed law blade lights directly cut a few bloody wounds on Ningqing's body. If Nalan Rushua stood in front of him, even a single wound would have caused her corporeal body to collapse. This kind of law-attributed attack wasn't something a heaven-seated cultivator like Nalan Rushua could withstand. As Ning Cheng stabilized the everlasting blue thunder fort, the defying ice storm, which looked like the Milky Way pouring down, finally stopped. If the gray-robed female cultivator saw this scene, her eyes would have popped out of their sockets in shock. Facing such a terrifying defying ice storm, apart from dodging, even a Dao sculpting expert wouldn't dare to use a defensive weapon to block it. An eternal cultivator using a weapon to block the defying ice storm, unless they were crazy. But Ningqing wasn't crazy. He had indeed blocked it. In addition to the power of the everlasting blue thunder fort, his celestial essence and sea of consciousness had long since surpassed the scope of the eternal realm. The most violent defying ice storm quickly passed, and the endless defying ice law's blades that followed didn't pose any threat to Ningcheng. With these defying ice law's blades, Ningcheng could even block them for a few months. Chapter 854. Sister Ning, look at them. The early-stage eternal cultivator trapped in the corner of the ice cliff looked at Ningcheng and Nalan Rushua in disbelief. Even without her reminder, the gray-robed female cultivator, and the other two also saw Ningcheng and Nalan Rushua. How is this possible? The gray-robed female cultivator stared at the dense law ice blades bombarding Ningcheng's blue thunder fort. The blue thunder fort's lightning arcs filled the sky, but it didn't budge an inch. What a powerful weapon! The early-stage eternal male cultivator stared at Ningcheng's everlasting blue thunder fort with envy. The gray-robed female cultivator finally calmed down from the shock. She took in a deep breath and spoke in a deep voice. No matter how good that weapon is, without the support of powerful celestial essence and spiritual consciousness, without any contact with laws, it would never be able to block the defying ice blade containing laws. Sister Ning, let's ask him for a favor. The early-stage eternal female cultivator spoke up eagerly. She had completely forgotten what she had said before. The gray-robed female cultivator shook her head and did not ask for Ningcheng's help. As a full-circle eternal cultivator and a cultivator from a big sect, she naturally had her own pride. Previously, she had tried to persuade Ningcheng not to enter the defying ice mound. But now she had to ask Ningcheng for help. Ningcheng and Nalan Rushua also saw the four people trapped in the corner of the ice cliff. Nalan Rushua did not speak. She did not know if Ningcheng was willing to help, nor did she know if Ningcheng had the ability to help. Ningcheng took the initiative to step forward and spoke. If the few of you do not mind, you can come with us. Ningcheng had a good impression of this gray-robed female cultivator. Replaced with an ordinary cultivator, she wouldn't have cared if they lived or died after entering the defying ice mound, let alone warn them. She felt embarrassed to ask others for help, but now that Ningcheng took the initiative to speak up, the gray-robed female cultivator naturally would not refuse. She quickly spoke up with gratitude. Many thanks, senior apprentice brother. My name is Kong Ning, and I come from River Luo Sacred Sect. With that, she pointed to the other three people beside her and introduced them. This is my junior apprentice brother Tang Jinxi, and these two are Heaven's Pole Island's senior apprentice brother Jing Xingwen and junior apprentice sister Xiejilan. Tang Jinxi was the early-stage eternal male cultivator, while Xiejilan was the early-stage eternal female cultivator. Jing Xingwen was at the late-stage eternal realm with a star on his forehead. After Kong Ning finished her introduction, Jing Xingwen, Xiejilan and Tang Jinxi, the three of them, quickly cupped their fists and greeted her before entering Ning City's everlasting blue thunder fort. My name is Ningcheng, and this is my friend Nalan Rushua, a rogue cultivator. Since he and Nalan Rushua had just arrived in the Grand Essence ruins, it was always a good thing to get to know more people. You guys are rogue cultivators? Tang Jinxi exclaimed in shock. They had previously thought that Ningcheng was a rogue cultivator. But when Ningcheng's everlasting blue thunder fort blocked the defying ice law edge, and could still move forward, they no longer regarded Ningcheng as a rogue cultivator. Since ancient times, there were indeed some powerful rogue cultivators, but the truly powerful cultivators had always come from the big sections. No matter how powerful a rogue cultivator was, it was impossible for him to be stronger than a cultivator from a large sect. Ningcheng just smiled and did not explain. He was originally a rogue cultivator, as such it was not worth mentioning. Kong Ning spoke up with a slightly awkward tone. I hope senior apprentice brother Ning doesn't mind my arrogant words before. I naturally don't mind. Junior apprentice Sister Kong Ning is doing this for our own good. Since Kong Ning called him senior apprentice brother, he might as well call her junior apprentice Sister Kong Ning. No matter where one went, the strong would always be respected. Kong Ning had the highest cultivation here, and since she addressed Ning Chung as senior apprentice brother, the others also had to address Ning Chung as senior apprentice brother. With Ning Cheng's help, the 6 people walked out of the area ravaged by the defying ice edge in just half a day. Endless ice pits and ice packs appeared in front of everyone. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness swept out, but could only reach about 1,000 miles before it couldn't extend any further. In the middle of these ice pits and ice packs, 3 twisting ice roads extended into the distance, with no end in sight. Fragmented defying ice edges swept over, but these fragmented defying ice edges had no effect on them. In the distance, the whimpering sounds of the ice blades and the roars of some unknown demonic beasts could be heard. Many thanks for Senior Apprentice Brother Ning's help. Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, do you and Junior Apprentice Sister Wuxia want to go in from the left or the middle road? After Kong Ning thanked Ning Chung, she asked Ning Chung which road they wanted to take to enter the depths of the defying ice mound. Ning Chung asked in doubt, Junior Apprentice Sister Kong Ning, why didn't you say the right road? Hearing Ning Cheng's words, Kong Ning's group of 4 froze for a moment. Then, Kong Ning asked, didn't Senior Apprentice Brother Ning purchase the introduction jade strip for the defying ice mound before coming to the defying ice mound? Ning Cheng frowned slightly. He truly didn't know that the defying ice mound also had an introduction jade strip. Seeing Ning Cheng's expression, Kong Ning understood that Ning Cheng truly didn't purchase such an introduction jade strip. She felt a little speechless. Was it because he was bold, or because he was ignorant and fearless? Ning Cheng's ability was indeed the strongest eternal cultivator she had ever seen. Therefore, she felt sure that Ning Cheng hadn't reached Tao-confirming realm. Yet as an eternal cultivator, he could safely face the defying ice storm and the endless defying ice edges. This showed that he truly had the ability. Junior Apprentice Sister Kong Ning, please enlighten me. Ning Cheng quickly cupped his fists. If he knew that the defying ice mound had an introduction jade strip, he would have bought one. Kong Ning nodded and said, according to legend, the defying ice mound is the place where the defying ice holy emperor fell. The defying ice holy emperor's understanding of the ice-attributed laws had reached the pinnacle. After he fell here, his cultivation turned into endless ice-attributed laws. After these laws shattered, they formed the defying ice edges. The defying ice storm we encountered before was a sudden eruption of the defying ice edges after accumulating them. The spirit technique, the extreme violent ice sea, is one of the defying ice holy emperor's great spirit techniques. It is also a high-level spirit technique task in the Grand Essence Ruins Quest Hall. In fact, there is another thing in the defying ice mound, the defying ice bead. The defying ice bead has a high price, and it can help cultivators with ice-attributed spiritual roots comprehend the ice-attributed laws. We came here for the defying ice bead this time. But the task we took wasn't issued by the Grand Essence Ruins Quest Hall, but a task issued by our sect. What does this have to do with the ice road on the right? Ning Cheng asked in confusion. Because the road on the right had undergone a mutation, due to the decomposition of the ice-attributed laws. As a result, endless defying ice beasts were born on this road. The defying ice beasts are worthless, but they are extremely ferocious. All of them were born under the mutated laws. A Tao sculpting powerhouse once went there to take a look, but the defying ice beasts besieged and killed that Tao sculpting powerhouse. In fact, apart from the defying ice beasts, there is nothing of value on the road on the right. Therefore, it has no meaning other than danger. The true inheritance of the defying ice holy emperor lies in the middle road. Many cultivators who explored the defying ice mound found some ice-attributed spirit techniques here. Some people even found the bones of the defying ice holy emperor here. So if Senior Apprentice Brother Ning wants to go, don't go to the right road. Kong Ning spoke with sincerity. This was the first time Ning Cheng heard that the laws of heaven and earth could mutate. Law-related spirit techniques were created under the influence of the grand laws. If the laws mutated, what would happen to the laws? Many thanks, Senior Apprentice Sister Kong Ning, for reminding me. But I still plan to go to the right. Ningqing thought about it for a while, and decided to go to the right. As a starry sky cultivator in the eternal realm, Ningqing already knew that spirit techniques involving laws were much more powerful. He had already come into contact with the laws of space and the laws of time. Although they weren't very profound, they could already kill opponents at a higher level. The mutated laws of heaven and earth in the Defying Ice Mound allowed some low-level Defying Ice beasts to kill Dao sculpting powerhouses, which made him very interested. He even wanted to know if he could comprehend this mutated law under the influence of the mutated laws. Besides, he also had the means to protect himself. No matter how many Defying Ice beasts there were, he still had the time wheel. The time wheel didn't fear besiegement. It didn't matter if one came or a group came. Seeing Ningqing insist on going to the right, Kong Ning had no choice but to speak up. Then I wish senior apprentice brother Ning good luck. This is my communication pearl. After exchanging communication pearls, the 6 people went their separate ways. As Ningqing and Nalan Wuxia went deeper and deeper, more and more Defying Ice blades appeared around them. Ningqing had the everlasting Blue Thunder Fort, so no matter how many Defying Ice blades there were, it wouldn't affect his speed. The further they went, the colder the road became. Ningqing could already feel that this coldness was a little different from ordinary ice. This coldness seemed to have seeped into one's soul and started to mutate. Although this coldness had seeped into one's soul, it gave off a strange feeling. Although one's body felt a bone-piercing cold, one's essence spirit felt a unique heat. Ningqing looked back at Nalan Wuxia and found that Nalan Wuxia didn't look particularly uncomfortable. It stood to reason that Nalan Wuxia would find it difficult to adapt to this situation. But although the Blue Thunder Fort blocked the Defying Ice blades, the aura of the laws caused by the mutated laws didn't change. Junior apprentice Sister Wuxia, do you feel a particularly strange coldness? Cold on the outside but hot on the inside? Moreover, it's that strange kind of heat? Ningqing asked in doubt. No, I just feel a little chill. It's not like what you said. Nalan Wuxia hadn't finished her words when an earth-shattering roar rushed over. Defying Ice beasts? Ningqing looked at the endless transparent demonic beasts in front of him. Even with the time wheel, he still felt his scalp tingling. These Defying Ice beasts looked like galloping wild horses, and the aura coming from them felt similar to the strange coldness Ningqing had felt before. They hadn't even arrived in front of Ningqing, nor had they even launched an attack. But the aura coming from them made Ningqing feel very uncomfortable. Not waiting for these Defying Ice beasts to attack, Ningqing shot out a dozen time wheels. The time wheels swept out with a faint grayish wheel light. Ningqing felt confident in the time wheel's area of effect killing ability. Moreover, these Defying Ice beasts didn't seem to be very strong. As the time wheels swept out, it would be a flat land, and no matter how many Defying Ice beasts there were, they would still turn into nothingness. But when the time wheels swept through the Defying Ice beasts, Ningqing suddenly felt dumbfounded. His time wheels couldn't even kill a single one of the Defying Ice beasts, apart from knocking them down. The time wheels immediately rushed into the Defying Ice beasts, but the effect wasn't much different from the previous ones. But because of the impact force, a few Defying Ice beasts ended up shattering. Chapter 855. Ningqing instantly understood what was going on. He also understood why a Dao sculpting expert would fall under the siege of the Defying Ice beasts. The reason why his time wheel was so powerful was because of the laws of time, which could ignore all laws of time. As long as the time wheel swept past it, it would feel as if time had flowed by. Nothing could stop time, which resulted in the sweeping effect. However, these Defying Ice beasts seemed to be the product of mutated laws. Although the laws of time could sweep through things under normal laws, it might not necessarily have an effect on these mutated laws. Maybe when his time wheel grew stronger and the laws of time became more profound, he could sweep through these Defying Ice beasts. But at the same time, if his time wheel grew stronger, why wouldn't these Defying Ice beasts grow? Facing such powerful mutated laws of demonic beasts, to kill them, he would need to master a more powerful lore-related spirit technique, or at least understand the lore-related spirit technique under these mutated laws. If this mutated law was also deduced by the Defying Ice Holy Emperor, Then this defying ice holy emperor was simply too heaven-defying. Let's go. After Ningcheng finished, he grabbed Nalan Wuxia and was about to activate the twin wings of the heavenly clouds. Wait, senior apprentice brother Ning. Nalan Wuxia suddenly called out to Ningcheng. What surprised Ningcheng even more was that the defying ice beasts besieging them suddenly stopped. The endless defying ice beasts surrounded Ningcheng and Nalan Wuxia, but didn't attack. Ningcheng prepared to activate the twin wings of the heavenly clouds at any time and asked, "What's going on?" "I seem to feel a call, saying that I can inherit the defying ice laws." Nalan Wuxia looked at the endless defying ice beasts in front of her in doubt. She did feel a call in front of her. "Can you inherit the defying ice laws?" Ningcheng spoke halfway before recalling Kong Ning's words. "Is it the inheritance of the defying ice holy emperor? By the way, you seem to have a mutated ice-attributed spiritual root." Nalan Wuxia nodded, then looked at Ningcheng and said, "Senior apprentice brother Ning, I want to go and have a look." "I'll go with you and have a look." Ningcheng brought Nalan Wuxia here to help her find a powerful ice-attributed spirit technique. But now, the defying ice holy emperor seemed to have taken a fancy to Nalan Wuxia's qualifications and wanted to pass on the inheritance to her. Ningcheng and Nalan Wuxia had just taken a step when the endless defying ice beasts surrounded them again. The powerful mutated ice-attributed aura made Ningcheng vigilant at all times. "Senior apprentice brother Ning, I'll go alone." After Nalan Wuxia finished, she took the initiative to walk out of Ning City's everlasting Blue Thunder City. Sure enough, after she walked out of the everlasting Blue Thunder Fort, she did not suffer any attacks from the defying ice blades, nor did those defying ice beasts continue to rush towards her. Ningcheng felt helpless. He could only stay here and wait for Nalan Wuxia. As Nalan Wuxia walked over, the dense pack of defying ice beasts suddenly separated, revealing an ice crystal-like passage. Nalan Wuxia walked along the ice road until she reached a glacial river. The glacial river separated into two sides. As Nalan Wuxia walked in, the ice river closed up again. Ningcheng's spiritual consciousness could no longer feel even half a shred of Nalan Wuxia's aura. It felt as if Nalan Wuxia had completely disappeared. The defying ice beasts surrounded Ningcheng as if guarding against Ningcheng. Feeling helpless, Ningcheng could only sit down and feel the mutated laws around him. As time passed, Ningcheng found himself immersed in the laws of heaven and earth around him. He could feel a brand new world of laws. This world of laws was completely different from what he had comprehended before. It was a world of laws that subverted his senses and senses. It's just that this feeling felt very uncomfortable. He clearly wanted to grasp this mutated law, but he just missed that little bit. Not knowing how long it took, Ningcheng suddenly woke up. He could no longer feel the aura of the mutated laws. Ningcheng quickly found that the defying ice beasts around him had disappeared without a trace. Even the defying ice blades had disappeared. At this moment, Ningcheng saw Nalan Wuxia walking over from a distance. "Did you accept the inheritance?" Ningcheng could clearly feel the changes in Nalan Wuxia. She clearly had a heaven-seated cultivation, but her body gave off a hint of holiness. Not only that, but it also gave off a faint ice-cold aura. Ningcheng had already come into contact with laws, so he naturally understood that this was the influence of laws. Ningcheng frowned slightly. He didn't like Nalan Wuxia's ice-cold aura. He was willing to take Nalan Wuxia to the Grand Essence Ruins, and even help Nalan Wuxia find a spirit technique. Apart from Nalan Wuxia helping Yanji, another reason was that Nalan Wuxia had changed a lot. At least, he preferred the changed Nalan Wuxia, not the arrogant genius disciple from Graceful Star Mainland who didn't put others in her eyes. But now Nalan Wuxia had a hint of ice-cold aura, which made her less amiable like Ningcheng had felt. Many thanks, senior apprentice brother Ning. I accepted the inheritance of the defying ice holy emperor. Nalan Wuxia also saw Ningcheng's frown and spoke with a hint of hesitation. Ningcheng decided to tell the truth. He and Nalan Wuxia had also experienced a period of friendship. Junior apprentice sister Wuxia, I feel that your aura has changed. Does it have anything to do with your inheritance? Nalan Wuxia spoke up with a slightly frightened voice. Yes, The inheritance of the Defying Ice Holy Emperor is an ice-attributed law inheritance. After accepting the inheritance of the Defying Ice Holy Emperor, I also have to help the Holy Emperor rebuild the Defying Ice sect. Ningqing sighed in his heart. Nalan Ruxue didn't really answer his question. What he wanted to ask was what was going on with this ice-attributed law, and why did it change her aura? He believed that Nalan Ruxue could understand the meaning of his words. What he wanted was a detailed answer. However, Nalan Ruxue only spoke in general terms and didn't explain it in detail. Senior apprentice Brother Ning, I don't know if I should accept this inheritance or not. I want to hear your advice. Nalan Ruxue's voice grew softer and softer, and she even lowered her head. Ningqing guessed that Nalan Ruxue just wanted to take care of his emotions. Even if he told Nalan Ruxue not to accept this inheritance, Nalan Ruxue probably wouldn't listen to him. I know you already have a decision in your heart. If you really want me to give you a suggestion, I suggest you. Big Brother Ning. Ningqing hadn't finished his words when Nalan Ruxue suddenly interrupted Ningqing's words and stepped forward to hug Ningqing tightly. Her soft chest pressed against Ningqing's body. Even if Nalan Ruxue's body still had a trace of ice-cold aura, it still made Ningqing's heart feel a little fiery. However, this fiery feeling quickly dissipated. No matter why Nalan Ruxue did this, when she interrupted him, perhaps she had already decided to inherit the inheritance of the Defying Ice Holy Emperor, and was ready to rebuild the Defying Ice sect. Thinking of this, Ningqing suddenly felt a little at a loss. He and Nalan Ruxue stayed here, sharing weal and woe and helping each other. But the inheritance of the Defying Ice Holy Emperor made Nalan Ruxue make up her mind. The fiery feeling from Ningqing stimulated the love and desire hidden in the bottom of Nalan Ruxue's heart. But as the fiery feeling from Ningqing dissipated, Nalan Ruxue finally sobered up. She sighed. This was the only thing she could do. She took the initiative to ask Ningqing for sex. That was the limit of what she could do. If Ningqing was willing to take her, even in this world of ice and snow, she would be willing. Then she would not hesitate to take out the inheritance of the Defying Ice Holy Emperor and give it to Ningqing. She would even cut off a trace of the Defying Ice laws in her sea of consciousness and go anywhere with Ningqing. However, Ningqing didn't have the kind of feelings between Dao companions. Even if it was a short-lived physiological desire, it was quickly suppressed by reason. After all, one day, Ningqing would still leave her. Instead of waiting for that day to come, she might as well use this opportunity to make her own choice. She understood this truth when she wandered the starry skies. From today onwards, she would be the second sect master of the Defying Ice sect. From today onwards, she would fight for her own goals. Big Brother Ning, I'm leaving. Nalan Ruxue released Ningqing's hands, gave Ningqing a bow, and quickly retreated. Soon, she disappeared from Ningqing's spiritual consciousness. Ningqing silently looked in the direction where Nalan Ruxue disappeared. After a while he muttered to himself, everyone has the right to choose their own path. I wish you success. Nalan Ruxue stood outside the Defying Ice Mound and stopped again. There were a few times when she wanted to go back, but she resisted the urge. Even she didn't know if her choice was right or wrong. But she was sure of one thing. Once she started cultivating the Defying Ice cultivation method, she would completely forget this beautiful relationship. As the successor of the Defying Ice Holy Emperor, she knew it all too well. After a long time, Nalan Ruxue wiped her eyes, bent down, and put away the huge ice sculpture at the entrance of the valley. Then she turned around and left, never looking back. Chapter 856. Ningqing originally came to the Defying Ice Mound to help Nalan Ruxue find a spirit technique. But now that Nalan Ruxue not only found the spirit technique, but also the inheritance, Ningqing naturally wouldn't stay in this place. Although the mutated laws were powerful, it was a pity that the mutated law aura of the Defying Ice Mound disappeared after Nalan Ruxue accepted the inheritance. As such, Ningqing couldn't continue to comprehend the law aura under the mutated law. As soon as Ningqing walked out of the Defying Ice Mound, he received Kong Ning's message. He immediately replied and waited for less than half an incense stick worth of time before Kong Ning's group of 4 appeared in front of Ningqing. Among the four, the star on Jing Xingwen's forehead was a little dim, and there seemed to be traces of blood. It seemed like he was heavily injured. It's a happy event to see senior apprentice brother Ning again. Kong Ning's words stopped before she could finish. She did not see Nalan Wuxia. Moreover, Ning Cheng also did not seem to be in high spirits. In her opinion, Ning Cheng's companion, Nalan Wuxia, should have died in the hands of the defying ice beasts. As such, it wouldn't be appropriate to continue talking about happy events. I wonder why junior apprentice sister Kong Ning is looking for me. Ning Cheng wanted to go to the Grand Essence 7 Bridges, and didn't want to talk to these four people. Kong Ning quickly replied, "It's like this. I really admire senior apprentice brother Ning's cultivation. I wonder what senior apprentice brother Ning thinks about my River Luo sacred sect?" Ning Cheng spoke up with an apologetic tone. "I'm really sorry, but this is the second time I've heard of the River Luo sacred sect. The first time was also because of you, so I can't express my opinion. But I think the River Luo sacred sect must be a very big sect for it to be able to cultivate a powerhouse like junior apprentice sister Kong Ning." Hearing Ning Cheng's words, Kong Ning's group of four looked at each other in dismay. After a while, Kong Ning spoke up with a dry voice. "Senior apprentice brother Ning, have you really never heard of the River Luo sacred sect?" Ning Cheng showed a slight frown. His first sentence was to be polite. What did the River Luo sacred sect have to do with him? Was there a need to repeatedly ask him if he had heard of the River Luo sacred sect? Sensing Ning Cheng's displeasure, Kong Ning quickly spoke up. "It's like this. I want to invite senior apprentice brother Ning to join my River Luo sacred sect. With senior apprentice brother Ning's cultivation, even if he came to my River Luo sacred sect, he would have his own sacred peak." Ning Cheng showed a smile. "Many thanks for junior apprentice sister Kong Ning's invitation, but I'm used to being alone. If I join a large academy, I'm afraid that I won't be able to stand the restrictions. If he were to violate the sect's rules, it would be a waste of junior sister Kong Ning's kindness. If junior apprentice sister Kong Ning has nothing else to say, then I will take my leave." Ning Cheng initially wanted to ask Kong Ning and the others if they had any information about the Grand Essence 7 Bridges. But in the end he dispelled the idea. He believed that he wasn't the only one going to the Grand Essence 7 Bridges. After arriving at the Grand Essence 7 Bridges, he could also purchase it from other cultivators. Seeing Ning Cheng leave, Kong Ning couldn't speak for a long time. There's such a person who doesn't know of the River Luo sacred sect? He even rejected senior sister Ning's invitation. If anyone else was invited to join the River Luo sacred sect, they would probably wake up laughing in their dreams. Xie said in a somewhat incredulous tone. Jing Xingwen, who had a star on his forehead, spoke up. "Therefore you can only be a puny disciple. Others can go to the defying ice beast area and come out unscathed. What's so great about that? Didn't his Dao companion die in the end? A person who can't even protect his own Dao companion is just like this." Xie retorted in an unconvinced manner. Kong Ning waved her hand. "Everyone stop arguing. Let's go. This kind of powerhouse has his own secrets. It's not surprising that he doesn't want to join the River Luo sacred sect. It's a pity." "Sister Ning, are you feeling sorry for the next Grand Essence Great Meet?" Xie asked. Kong Ning nodded. "Yeah. If an expert like Ning Cheng could join the River Luo sacred sect, my River Luo sacred sect would definitely have a greater say in the next Grand Essence Great Meet. So it's a pity." Without Nalan Wuxia, Ning Cheng could travel much faster by himself. After the twin wings of the heavenly clouds underwent nirvana, his speed became even faster. Even in the Grand Essence ruins, it didn't affect him at all. The Grand Essence 7 Bridges, one of the most famous places in the Grand Essence ruins. However, unlike what Ning Cheng expected, there weren't many cultivators who came to the Grand Essence 7 Bridges. The spirit techniques in the Grand Essence 7 Bridges were indeed very valuable, and many people yearned to obtain them. However, the Grand Essence 7 Bridges was also one of the most dangerous places in the entire Grand Essence ruins. Of the cultivators who entered the depths of the Grand Essence 7 Bridges, only 2 or 3 out of 10 could come back alive. As for whether those 2 or 3 who came back would obtain the Grand Essence 7 Bridges spirit technique, It was something that no one could even dream about. Despite the dangers of the Grand Essence 7 bridges, only a few cultivators came here. Apart from pursuing greater power, there was another reason. That was, the spirit techniques in the Grand Essence 7 bridges weren't the only ones. Many cultivators could also find some ordinary spirit techniques here. Moreover, these spirit techniques were equally powerful and worth a lot of points. In the Grand Essence Quest Hall, cultivators liked spirit technique quests the most. After receiving such quests, not only could they learn the spirit techniques, but they could also earn a lot of points. Except for some spirit techniques that couldn't be copied. Anyone who completed a spirit technique quest would find a way to learn the spirit technique, or engrave the spirit technique before handing in the quest. Ningqing arrived at the Grand Essence 7 bridges, but didn't see a single person. The entrance to the Grand Essence 7 bridges was covered in a white mist. This mist isolated spiritual consciousness, and contained a highly toxic aura. Not only could this aura strangle spiritual consciousness, but it also contained a violent power. It gave people the feeling that once they entered this fog, they would immediately be strangled to death. This aura was somewhat similar to the aura outside the ancient Shadow Temple. When Ningqing went to the ancient Shadow Temple, he had also sensed a similar poisonous mist aura at the entrance. It's just that the poisonous mist outside the ancient Shadow Temple wasn't even 1/100th of the one here. Ningqing's first feeling wasn't that the mist here was powerful, but that fellow named Wuxia. The ancient Shadow Temple and the first bridge of coping below were all built by that fellow, Wuxia. He established the ancient Shadow Temple to learn the 7 bridges spirit technique. Seeing this place, Ningqing guessed that Wuxia must have come to this place before. That's why he simulated this place and built the first bridge of coping. Wuxia had paid a huge price, but he still couldn't learn the 7 bridges spirit technique, not even the first bridge. Ningqing took in a deep breath and decided to enter the white mist to search for the 7 bridges spirit technique. It wasn't that Ningqing was conceited, but Ningqing believed that with the everlasting Blue Thunder Fort and a powerful body forging cultivation method, he should be able to cope with some sudden crises. More importantly, Ningqing had always suspected that his 7 Bridges Realm book had something to do with the 7 Bridges spirit technique. Now that he had arrived at the Grand Essence 7 Bridges, if he didn't go in and take a look, he wouldn't be able to sleep. Ningqing brought out the everlasting Blue Thunder Fort and, without any hesitation, stepped into the white mist. The white mist isolated spiritual consciousness, and even Ningqing's spiritual consciousness could only reach a few feet in radius within this white mist. According to Ningqing's understanding, the ancient Shadow Temple was arranged by Wuxia to simulate the Grand Essence 7 bridges. If he stepped into the white mist, then there should be a gate behind it. But Ningqing didn't expect that he would step into the air. After stepping into the white mist, he found nothing. It was completely empty below. The moment Ningqing stepped into the air, a powerful suction force emerged, and he immediately activated the twin wings of the heavenly clouds. Ningqing could still release his spiritual consciousness in this place, and coupled with the twin wings of the heavenly clouds, he didn't fall but slowly descended. After a full hour, Ningqing's feet finally touched the ground. During this hour, his spiritual consciousness also slowly adapted to the violent poisonous mist around him. Originally, he could only see a range of about 3 feet, but after adapting, he could now see more than 10 feet around him. Around Ningqing's spiritual consciousness, except for a few white skeletons, the rest of the skeletons were all black, without a single human figure. These skeletons were scattered over the gray-black gravel, and if one didn't look carefully, one wouldn't notice them. The violent poisonous mist repeatedly scoured around the everlasting Blue Thunder Fort, but it couldn't break through the everlasting Blue Thunder Fort's defenses. Ningqing walked on the grayish-black gravel, while at the same time he took the initiative to stretch out his spiritual consciousness, in order to temper his spiritual consciousness. Thanks to his powerful starry sky sea of consciousness, Ningqing's spiritual consciousness slowly expanded as he tempered it. 150 feet, 200 feet, 300 feet. A day later, Ningqing's spiritual consciousness could already see a range of dozens of miles around him. In the end, he even took the initiative to release some of the violent poisonous mist. When the poisonous mist fell on him, Apart from corroding his clothes, it didn't affect his body as much as he imagined. Ningqing secretly sighed. His body forging cultivation method had no continuation after reaching the starry sky body. Otherwise, his body forging cultivation method wouldn't be too bad in this place. Although there were many skeletons under his feet, Ningqing didn't see a single ring. After a few more days, Ningqing's spiritual consciousness finally reached its limit. He then saw the outline of a bridge hundreds of miles away. After seeing the outline of this bridge, Ningqing didn't even think about it before speeding up. Soon, Ningqing arrived at the bridgehead of this bridge. 5 words were scrawled over the bridgehead. First bridge of coping. The 5 words gave off bursts of Tao charm that permeated into one's soul. It was countless times more powerful than the first bridge of coping he saw under the ancient shadow temple. But what puzzled Ningqing was that he didn't encounter the same gloomy winds as under the ancient shadow temple. Do you also want to cross the bridge? A sudden voice appeared beside Ningqing, and Ningqing discovered that someone had appeared beside him without him noticing. He took a few steps back and looked at the cultivator, who suddenly appeared in front of him with some vigilance. Ningqing had a feeling that this cultivator's cultivation didn't seem to be higher than his own. This cultivator wore a gray robe and had long hair that fell behind his back. Coupled with his slightly pale face, it gave people a very uncomfortable feeling. Seeing Ningqing's fear, he quickly waved his hand and said, "Dao friend, you don't have to worry. Since you can walk to the bridgehead of the bridge of coping, it shows that you're not ordinary. My name is Zhong Wuchen, and I also want to cross the bridge. But I feel that I'm alone, so I waited here to find someone to team up with." If this cultivator hadn't said that he was Zhong Wuchen, Ningqing would have believed that he wanted to team up. But when he heard the name Zhong Wuchen, he immediately felt his scalp tingle. Chapter 857. Zhong Wuchen, wasn't the ancient shadow temple related to this fellow? This fellow even built the first bridge of coping in the ancient shadow temple to learn the 7 bridges spirit technique. But even so, he didn't manage to learn the first bridge of the 7 bridges spirit technique. Later, when he realized that he couldn't learn the first bridge of the 7 bridges in the ancient shadow temple, he decided to leave. He didn't even build the other bridges. The first bridge of coping was built by the 7 bridges holy emperor. I know this place very well, if we... Wait. Ningqing interrupted Zhong Wuchen's words. Brother Zhong, did you say that the first bridge of coping was built by the 7 bridges holy emperor? It's not a place from the underworld? Zhong Wuchen smiled. Dao friend, I'm afraid you don't know much about the Grand Essence 7 bridges. The origin of the Grand Essence 7 bridges does have something to do with the underworld. Because of the 7 bridges holy emperor's near-death experience, he managed to comprehend the peerless spirit technique, the 7 bridges, after returning to the Grand Essence realm. Unfortunately, even if the 7 bridges holy emperor spent his entire life, he could only learn the 5th bridge. He couldn't even learn the other 2 bridges. Brother Zhong, does that mean the first bridge of coping here is also fake? Did the 7 bridges holy emperor build it to control the 7 bridges spirit technique? Ningqing asked in doubt. Zhong Wuchen nodded. Yes, the first bridge of coping here is also fake. But if you can comprehend the real 7 bridges spirit technique here, it's definitely not fake. As soon as Zhong Wuchen said those words, he felt that something was wrong. Before he could react, Ningqing brought out his long spear. Sunset's twilight. The sunset was infinitely beautiful, but it was close to dusk. This was a law of time-related spirit technique. As the long spear came out, the Tao charm of the spear intent completely solidified the surroundings at this moment. Lingji, if you don't hand over Grey Toot Toot today, I will burn your soul for 10,000 years. After the Tao charm of the spear intent locked onto the long-haired man, Ningqing's killing intent swept over. He felt sure that this long-haired man in gray robes wasn't Zhong Wuchen. If it were Zhong Wuchen, he wouldn't have come to him for discussion. Since Zhong Wuchen could build such a powerful and terrifying place like the first bridge of coping, his cultivation was definitely much higher than his own. How could Zhong Wuchen not be stronger than him? Moreover, the first bridge of coping that Zhong Wuchen built in the ancient Shadow Temple was a simulation of the first bridge here. If Zhong Wuchen could comprehend the spirit technique of the first bridge here, he would not have gone to the ancient shadow temple to build the first bridge. With Zhong Wuchen's amazing talent, since he knew that he couldn't comprehend the spirit technique of the first bridge of coping here, he wouldn't come here a second time. What he said before was also a lie, but the other party also added a also to his answer, which meant that this person had seen the ancient shadow temple's first bridge of coping. Other than Zhong Wuchen, it was obvious that it was the ghostly cultivator Ling Ji. At this time, Ling Ji had already shaped his body and successfully upgraded from a ghost cultivator to a human cultivator. This gray-robed man was indeed Ling Ji. As soon as Ningcheng brought out his sunset's twilight, he understood that it was the laws of time. But before he could break free from Ningcheng's laws of time, Ningcheng actually spoke out his name. The gray-robed man had been a ghost cultivator for many years, and had only just formed his corporeal body. His essence, spirit, and corporeal body hadn't even merged yet. Under such circumstances, it would have been strange if he could escape Ningcheng's sunset's twilight. The setting sun in his eyes hadn't even completely fallen when he heard the sound of his body tearing apart. Boom. Ling Ji was also a bachelor. He didn't know if Ningcheng's words frightened him, or if he knew that he would die. But at this moment he didn't even try to resist. Instead, he chose to blow himself up while he could. Violent celestial essence power erupted, and Ningcheng could only forcibly grab Ling Ji's ring and fly out in anger. As the explosion subsided, the place where Ling Ji stood turned into a huge crater. The laws in the Grand Essence ruins were much stronger compared to the starry skies. Ningcheng, with his powerful body, had forcibly reached out to grab Ling Ji's ring. However, the explosion had left more than a dozen bloody wounds on his arm. Moreover, the place where Ling Ji blew himself up was just a huge crater. Ningcheng didn't care about Ling Ji. Instead, his spiritual consciousness fell into Ling Ji's ring. Ling Ji's ring really could store life. But to Ningcheng's disappointment, he didn't see Grey Toot Toot in Ling Ji's ring. He had killed Ling Ji, and Grey Toot Toot had disappeared without a trace. Ningcheng didn't even know if it was dead or alive. With a sigh, Ningcheng put away Ling Ji's ring. Without any hesitation, he stepped onto the first coping bridge. Ningcheng had just stepped onto the coping bridge when the scene around him suddenly disappeared. Endless nether winds swept over, causing Ningcheng to feel as if his life essence would be blown away by the nether winds at any moment. Moreover, he still had the protection of the everlasting Blue Thunder Fort's thunder light. Without the everlasting Blue Thunder Fort, Ningcheng suspected that his essence spirit would have already dissipated. Ningcheng's first thought was to retreat. But when he looked back, the path of retreat had already disappeared. Besides the primal chaos nether winds, there was nothing else around him. Kaka. The everlasting Blue Thunder Fort made Kaka sounds under the influence of the nether winds. Even if Ningcheng constantly stimulated his spiritual consciousness and celestial essence, the everlasting Blue Thunder Fort continued to shrink. Even if Ningcheng had experienced countless dangerous situations, he couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat in the face of such a situation. He simply didn't know where to start. The whooshing sound also grew more and more gloomy, and Ningcheng could even hear the sound of rolling waves. When he forced his spiritual consciousness out, he finally saw where the rolling sound came from. It was the same as the ancient Shadow Temple's first coping bridge. The blood river under the bridge roiled, and a bloody aura even rushed up. This bloody aura directly broke through Ningcheng's protective domain. Apart from the blood river under the bridge, there was no road in front or behind him. Even his spiritual consciousness couldn't see his surroundings. Ningcheng didn't dare to move. Once he took a wrong step and fell into the blood river, he would have no choice but to enter the mysterious yellow bead. The mysterious yellow bead lacked the wood origin bead. Once he entered the mysterious yellow bead, there would definitely be powerhouses in the Grand Essence realm who could sense the mysterious yellow origin aura. Ningcheng suddenly felt the Seven Bridges realm book in the true spirit world tremble slightly. Ningcheng didn't have any other way. Therefore, after feeling the Seven Bridges realm book tremble, he didn't hesitate to take out the wordless Seven Bridges realm book. As soon as the Seven Bridges realm book came out, it rushed out of Ningcheng's hand and floated above the bridge. At the same time, its pages gave off a buzzing sound. Ning Cheng was surprised to find that the endless yin qi above the first coping bridge, as well as the blood river under the bridge, were crazily sucking away the Seven Bridges Realm book. Looking at the Seven Bridges Realm book crazily absorbing the yin qi and the blood river's aura, Ningqing didn't expect that this ordinary-looking book would have such an ability. It even went out of his control. Soon, Ningqing felt the difference in his surroundings. Everything around him became clear, and the terrifying yin wind could no longer lock him down. As long as he wanted to, he could exit the first coping bridge at any time. The bridge of coping under his feet trembled slightly, but before Ningqing could react, the bridge of coping under his feet suddenly turned illusory. Ningqing didn't have time to think about it. He immediately activated the twin wings of the heavenly clouds and rushed to the other side of the bridge of coping. Ningqing had just rushed away from the bridge of coping when the bridge of coping he had been standing on also disappeared completely. It looked like a mass of melting ice and snow. The yin qi, the roiling stench of blood in the river of blood, and even the bridge of helplessness had been absorbed. The blood river had turned into dried-up gray-black gravel, and the bridge of coping that had once supported it had completely disappeared. After absorbing everything here, the Seven Bridges Realm book gave off a buzzing sound as if it wanted to fly away. Ningqing quickly rushed over and grabbed the Seven Bridges Realm book that was about to wash away. After Ningqing grabbed the Seven Bridges Realm book, it quieted down. Ningqing's spiritual consciousness immediately swept into the Seven Bridges Realm book. The first page, which originally had no words, now had a vague bridge. The bridge looked very illusory and didn't look solid, but Ningqing could vaguely see the words at the end of the bridge. First coping bridge. Although these words were still vague, the Tao charm contained within them was much stronger than the words on the first coping bridge that had disappeared before. What was going on? The Seven Bridges Realm book still trembled, as if it would escape at any moment. Ningqing couldn't care less about the grand essence Seven Bridges. His spiritual consciousness quickly penetrated it, and started refining the Seven Bridges Realm book again. Previously, no matter how Ningqing tried to refine it, he couldn't find any clues in this wordless heavenly book. But after the first bridge appeared, Ningqing immediately started refining this Seven Bridges Realm book. Ningqing continuously comprehended traces of Tao charm and spirit technique laws. The words first coping bridge became even clearer in Ningqing's mind. Ningqing even felt that he was standing in the middle of the first coping bridge again. The blood river under his feet surged, and the yin wind raged around him. At the same time, a row of black words appeared in front of him. No return in life, no retreat in death. Once you enter, you will never return. No return, no reincarnation. Only the blood river can wash away your sins. A new spirit technique gradually became clear in Ningqing's mind, and the Tao charm slowly formed. Just like a 10,000 feet tall building, Ningqing slowly stabilized its foundation. Even if Ningqing knew that he was far from cultivating the first coping bridge's spirit technique, he still had the ambition to look down on the world. It felt as if the first coping bridge was completely under his control. Anyone who set foot on the first coping bridge would have to crawl and confess their sins. As long as he wanted, the other party would jump into the blood river and wash away all their sins. What a powerful spirit technique. This spirit technique hadn't even harmed the opponent yet, but it had already affected his emotions. A few days later, Ningqing breathed in and opened his eyes. He finally understood what the Seven Bridges spirit technique was. To be precise, the Seven Bridges spirit technique was a weapon, and this weapon was the Seven Bridges realm. When this weapon became ownerless, it would turn into a wordless book called the Seven Bridges Realm book. The Seven Bridges realm was a weapon, but it was also a spirit technique. It was a spirit technique and a weapon that complemented each other. If one only learned the Seven Bridges spirit technique, without the Seven Bridges realm, one would never be able to use the Seven Bridges spirit technique. Even if one could use it, it would have no spirit. To cultivate the Seven Bridges spirit technique, one must have the Seven Bridges realm. After cultivating the Seven Bridges spirit technique, one would become immortal and bring about reincarnation. If a cultivator who cultivated the Seven Bridges spirit technique died before fully cultivating the Seven Bridges spirit technique, even with the Seven Bridges realm, the cultivator's spirit technique would dissipate. The Seven Bridges realm would turn into a realm book and automatically disappear. Chapter 858. Ningqing looked at the 7-page book in his hand and felt shocked. He didn't expect the Seven Bridges realm book to be this heaven-defying. But in the face of the first bridge of coping, or rather, in a situation where it wasn't even 1/10 of the real first bridge of coping's spirit technique, he felt helpless. If he truly cultivated the first bridge of coping, how terrifying would this spirit technique be? If he could cultivate all 7 bridges, then even a Tao perfection expert at the second step of Tao confirming wouldn't stand a chance in front of him. Ningqing thought back to Ling Ji's words. The 7 Bridges Holy Emperor must have cultivated the 7 Bridges spirit technique, because he obtained the 7 Bridges realm. Even a powerhouse like him could only cultivate up to the 5th bridge, which showed how difficult it was to cultivate the 7 Bridges spirit technique. Ningqing took out a jade box and put away the 7 Bridges realm. Comprehending the first bridge of the 7 Bridges spirit technique wasn't something that could be done in a day or two. He had to find time to go into seclusion and slowly comprehend it. But comprehending it in this place wasn't realistic. Moreover, the first bridge of the 7 Bridges realm hadn't formed yet. Even if he mastered the first bridge of coping spirit technique, he couldn't exert 100% of the power of the first bridge. With Ningqing's current understanding of the 7 Bridges realm book, he had to wait until he fully comprehended the first bridge of coping before the vague shadow of the bridge of coping in the book solidified. The road after the first bridge of coping was no longer gray-black gravel. Instead, it turned into a khaki-colored path. It looked like a field road at the entrance of a village, and it was surrounded by the chirping of birds. Ningqing's spiritual consciousness swept out, but he couldn't see a single bird flying around. The surroundings were still a blur. After walking for a few dozen miles, another bridge appeared in front of Ningqing. This bridge was a little different from the first bridge of coping. The khaki-colored bridge had the same color as the dirt road that extended to the end of the bridge. If one didn't look closely, they wouldn't even be able to tell if it was a bridge or an extension of the dirt road in front of them. Ningqing stopped at the end of this khaki-colored bridge. This bridge also had 5 characters with powerful Tao charm carved on it. Second Village Viewing Bridge. With the experience gained from the first bridge of coping, Ningqing took out the 7 Bridges realm book and stepped onto the Village Viewing Bridge. As soon as Ningqing set foot on the Village Viewing Bridge, endless Tao charms descended, and the scenery around him changed in an instant. He stood barefoot on the field path of Dongha Village. At this moment, he forgot everything that happened later. He returned to the carefree youth he used to be. Just as he was about to run across the field, he instantly grew up. He embarked on a journey away from his hometown. A yellow bridge separated his hometown from the outside world. Ningqing wanted to look back, but was hindered by a kind of resolute heart. He wanted to pursue something more powerful. At this moment, he did not hesitate to step onto the yellow bridge. Do not look back when you step on this bridge, for there is no one waiting for you at the end of the village. Don't look at each other, don't be hesitant. The moment you step on this bridge, your heart is broken. A kind of sadness and depression welled up in his heart, causing Ningqing to be unable to control himself. He had a vague feeling that as long as he stepped on this earthy yellow bridge, he would no longer have any interest in living. He wanted to turn back, but the incomparably powerful aura suppressed him, making it impossible for him to do so. This suppression made him want to take the second step quickly. Since he would break his heart sooner or later, he didn't want to continue wandering around. Just when Ningqing was about to take the next step, the 7 Bridges realm book once again rushed out of Ningqing's palm and floated above this earthy yellow bridge. The endless Tao charm aura and all the surrounding scenery swept away by the 7 Bridges realm. After a while, the scenery around Ningqing completely disappeared. Ningqing looked down at his raised foot, and cold sweat broke out on his back. This second village viewing bridge was just a spirit technique projection, but it almost made him lose himself. Or rather, without the 7 Bridges realm book, he would have already lost himself. No wonder so many people fell on the grand essence 7 Bridges. Without the 7 Bridges realm book, he would have already fallen. Most likely, The cultivators who could escape from the Grand Essence 7 bridges all had top-grade escape talismans. By the time Ningcheng landed on the opposite side of the village viewing bridge, the 7 Bridges Realm Book had already swept away the village viewing bridge. This time, the 7 Bridges Realm Book didn't escape, but fell into Ningcheng's hands. Ningcheng hadn't completely taken control of the 7 Bridges realm yet, but at least he had left a trace of his spiritual sense in the 7 Bridges realm. Without anyone snatching it, it was only natural for the 7 Bridges realm to return to Ningcheng's hands. Opening the 7 Bridges Realm Book, Ningcheng saw a vague bridge-shaped outline on the originally blank second page. He had already obtained 2 of the 7 Bridges spirit techniques. Although Ningcheng didn't cultivate these 2 spirit techniques, as long as he obtained these spirit techniques, he would eventually succeed in cultivating them. With the experience gained from the first and second village viewing bridges spirit techniques, Ningcheng once again arrived at the bridgehead of the third Forgetting River Bridge. But he no longer stepped on it. Instead, he threw out the 7 Bridges Realm Book first. The Forgetting River Bridge looked like a misty bridge. Apart from the vague outline in the middle, the surroundings were filled with mist. Ningcheng quickly crossed the Forgetting River Bridge, when the 7 Bridges Realm Book began to absorb all the scenery around the Forgetting River Bridge. This time, he didn't feel any influence and easily reached the other side of the Forgetting River Bridge. The third Forgetting River Bridge disappeared completely, and turned into a bridge shadow on the third page of Ningcheng's 7 Bridges Realm Book. Ningcheng once again arrived at the bridgehead of the fourth bridge. The fourth bridge was the Yellow Springs Bridge. Under the Yellow Springs Bridge was a tumbling yellow river. The bridge itself was made entirely of bluestone and looked quite imposing. Ningcheng just stood at the bridgehead, but the Dao charm emanating from the bridge suppressed Ningcheng to the point that he couldn't even stand straight. Ningcheng didn't think about it, and directly threw out the 7 Bridges Realm Book. No matter how amazing the momentum of the Yellow Springs Bridge was under the influence of the 7 Bridges Realm Book, it still turned into a Dao charm aura, and got swept away by the 7 Bridges Realm Book. By the time Ningcheng reached the other side of the Yellow Springs Bridge, and grabbed the 7 Bridges Realm Book, the outline of the 4th Yellow Springs Bridge had appeared on the 4th page of the 7 Bridges Realm Book. The 5th Reincarnation Bridge looked even more blurry and hazy than the 3rd Forgetting River Bridge. At least, one could still see the misty shadow of the Forgetting River Bridge. Ningcheng stood in front of the Reincarnation Bridge. But apart from the words 5th Reincarnation Bridge, he couldn't see or feel anything on the Reincarnation Bridge. Ningcheng didn't care about this. He hadn't even come into contact with the spirit technique of the 1st Reincarnation Bridge, let alone the 5th Reincarnation Bridge. All he could do was throw out the 7 Bridges Realm Book, and let the 7 Bridges Realm Book sweep away these spirit techniques. In the future, he would slowly comprehend them, and one day, he would be able to transform into any bridge with a raise of his hand. Even the blurry and tumbling Reincarnation Bridge would be in vain under the influence of the 7 Bridges Realm Book. After half an incense stick worth of time, the 7 Bridges Realm Book fell into Ningcheng's hands, and the outline of the 5th Reincarnation Bridge appeared on the 5th page. After Ningcheng's 7 Bridges Realm Book swept away the 5th Bridges spirit technique, his surroundings suddenly started to tumble, mixed with dull rumbling sounds. In just a few breaths, Ningcheng's spiritual consciousness suddenly opened up. The aura that suppressed Ningcheng's spiritual consciousness suddenly disappeared. Around Ningcheng's spiritual consciousness, apart from the tumbling space, where could he find the 6th bridge? The rumbling sounds grew louder and louder, and the space around Ningcheng also started to tremble and become extremely unstable. Not good, this place is about to collapse. Ningcheng quickly wielded the twin wings of the heavenly clouds and rushed out. In just a moment, an earth-shattering rumbling sound came from behind him. Dust filled the sky, and the white poisonous mist also began to dissipate. In just a short time, the white poisonous mist dissipated completely. Ningcheng stood in the void and looked at the Grand Essence 7 Bridges disappearing, feeling shocked in his heart. The Grand Essence 7 Bridges had collapsed after he took away the 5th Bridges spirit technique, and he didn't see the 6th bridge. From the looks of it, Ling Ji's words were true. The 7 Bridges Holy Emperor truly didn't control the 6th and 7th Bridges spirit techniques. Calling himself the Seven Bridges Holy Emperor was a complete boast. Ningqing even suspected that the Seven Bridges Holy Emperor didn't comprehend the Seven Bridges Spirit Technique. Instead, he already had the Seven Bridges Spirit Technique. After obtaining the Seven Bridges Realm Book and the Seven Bridges Spirit Technique, the Seven Bridges Holy Emperor named himself Seven Bridges. However, he could only comprehend 5 of them. Since the Grand Essence Seven Bridges collapsed, Ningqing knew that this matter would soon spread. He quickly activated the twin wings of the heavenly clouds and instantly escaped. As for contributing the Seven Bridges Spirit Technique in exchange for points, Ningqing didn't even think about it. Since the Seven Bridges Spirit Technique was already in his hands, how could he take it out? Even if he knew that others couldn't learn it, he wouldn't take it out. After Ningqing left, the news of the Grand Essence Ruins Grand Essence Seven Bridges collapsing quickly spread out. The Grand Essence Seven Bridges was one of the most famous places in the Grand Essence Ruins. Now that this place had collapsed, countless cultivators poured into it, and the collapsed Grand Essence Seven Bridges no longer posed any danger. Even some powerhouses came to the Grand Essence Seven Bridges to find out why the Grand Essence Seven Bridges suddenly collapsed. Chapter 859. Wait a minute. Ningqing, who was still in a hurry, found himself stopped by 2 cultivators, a man and a woman. Both of them were at the late-stage Eternal Realm. Seeing Ningqing stop, the male cultivator cupped his fists towards Ningqing. Did this Dao friend come from the Grand Essence Seven Bridges? Ningqing looked at the 2 people in doubt and asked, "Why do the 2 of you want to ask such a question?" The male cultivator explained, "Since the Grand Essence Seven Bridges collapsed, almost everyone who heard the news went to the Grand Essence Seven Bridges to look for opportunities. I saw Dao friend walking in the opposite direction of the Grand Essence Seven Bridges, and wanted to ask if Dao friend had been to the Grand Essence Seven Bridges? Did you leave because you didn't have a chance?" Ningqing understood that these 2 people also wanted to go to the Grand Essence Seven Bridges when they heard that the Grand Essence Seven Bridges had collapsed. It's just that it would take 2 days to reach the Grand Essence Seven Bridges from here. If he couldn't find anything after arriving at the Grand Essence Seven Bridges, wouldn't it be a wasted trip? The Grand Essence Seven Bridges collapsed? Ningqing looked surprised and immediately asked, "What's going on?" The man and woman realized that Ningqing didn't know anything about the collapse of the Grand Essence Seven Bridges, and felt a little disappointed. The male cultivator still explained the information they obtained to Ningqing. After Ningqing listened to the male cultivator's words, he frowned slightly and said, "From here to the Grand Essence Seven Bridges, it would take a few days. Plus, the Grand Essence Seven Bridges collapsed 2 days ago. I'm afraid that even if you found something good, you wouldn't be able to get it." The male cultivator also agreed with Ningqing's words. "I also think so, which is why I haven't made up my mind yet." After saying that, he turned to the female cultivator next to him and said, "Yuling, let's not join in the fun and go to the Broken Land to look for law soil. If we're lucky, we might even be able to find 1 or 2 law crystals." Ningqing quickly asked on hearing this, "Excuse me, what is this law soil?" The male cultivator looked at Ningqing in doubt for a while before asking, "Dao friend is in the Grand Essence Ruins, yet you don't know about law soil?" Ningqing immediately replied, "I just arrived at the Grand Essence Ruins, and as soon as I arrived, I went to the Defying Ice Mound. I'm not very clear about many things in the Grand Essence Ruins, so I'll have to ask you about it." The male cultivator didn't doubt it. After all, many cultivators who came to the Grand Essence Ruins for the first time had little experience. However, he still took out a jade strip and handed it to Ningqing. "This has an introduction to the Broken Land. Dao friend, you can take a look at it. We will take our leave first." He obviously did not want to be together with Ningqing. After handing the jade strip to Ningqing, he immediately said his goodbyes to Ningqing. Ningqing did not care about it, as he used his spiritual consciousness to sweep through the jade strip. After a while, Ningqing understood what law soil was. The Broken Land was one of the places in the Grand Essence Ruins. It was the most thoroughly destroyed place. Even some of the heaven and earth laws had been destroyed during the war. However, this place was different from other places. For some unknown reason, After countless years of war, the law of heaven and earth in this place had been destroyed, had condensed law soil. The biggest role of law soil was to cultivate Tao fruits. There were many types of Tao fruits, and most of them contain the laws of heaven and earth. Different Tao fruits contain different nomological Tao runes. Some contain the great Tao laws, while others contain the laws of divine abilities. It was precisely because of this that the Tao fruit could allow one to comprehend the Tao runes and successfully corroborate the Tao. If he could refine it into a Tao pill, his chances of comprehending the Tao would be even greater. But how many cultivators were there in the vast universe? There were simply too many to count. No matter how difficult it was to reach Tao sculpting, even 1 in a trillion, countless cultivators still managed to reach Tao sculpting. What's more, after reaching Tao sculpting, each realm, and even the comprehension of the laws of spirit techniques, required the help of some Tao fruits. Not to mention that without relying on Tao fruits, only relying on their own epiphanies to reach Tao confirming, there were very few of them. With so many cultivators in need of Tao fruits, the number of Tao fruits in the world was limited. Therefore, it required some Tao of alchemy powerhouses to cultivate Tao fruits. Tao fruits contained all kinds of nomological Tao runes, and some top-grade Tao fruits even contain the laws of heaven and earth. How could such things be cultivated with ordinary materials? It required more than just starry sky spirit chi or spirit chi. The most important thing to cultivate Tao fruits was to infuse the various nomological Tao runes into the Tao fruit tree, and then transfer them to the Tao fruit. Even a cultivator proficient in many laws couldn't transfer their comprehension of the laws to the Tao fruit tree. As for the wild Tao fruit trees in the world, they were even rarer. Tao fruit trees that could bear Tao fruits were rare to begin with. Even if some Tao fruit trees could bear Tao fruits, they would be transplanted. Every Tao fruit tree was a rare treasure. Moreover, the reason why any Tao fruit tree could grow and condense Tao fruits was because the place where it grew and the surrounding laws of heaven and earth were very suitable for its growth. Once it was moved, unless it was a top-grade spirit treasure law land, even if the Tao fruit tree didn't die, it would be very difficult for it to bear Tao fruit again. At this time, law soil became particularly important. Law soil could help the Tao fruit tree grow, and condense a trace of nomological Tao charm aura during its growth. Even if the Tao fruit tree was transplanted, as long as there was enough law soil, the Tao fruit tree could still grow and condense Tao fruits. The Grand Essence Quest Hall had a collection task for law soil, but there were too few places where one could condense law soil. Because of this, law soil was worth a lot of points. Just a fingernail alone was worth 100 points. Moreover, the bigger the law soil, the more valuable it was. If one obtained a fist-sized piece of law soil, it would be worth 100,000 points. Because the larger the volume of law soil, the more complete the law aura it contained, and the easier it would be absorbed by the Tao fruit tree. On the other hand, law soil was one of the few things that could give out points while also compensating for spirit crystals. In other words, no matter how many points one exchanged for law soil, one could also receive the same amount of high-rank spirit crystals. Law soil was just too valuable. Coupled with the low risk of searching for law soil, many cultivators went to the Broken Land to look for law soil. As more and more cultivators looked for law soil, it also led to the scarcity of law soil. No matter how much law soil there was, it couldn't keep up with so many people searching for it. After Ning Cheng checked the Broken Land, he decided to go to this place to look for law soil. In terms of strength, few eternal cultivators could pose a threat to him. But in this place, eternal cultivators were just ants. Ning Cheng also knew that the eternal cultivators who couldn't threaten him were cultivators who hadn't transformed their celestial essence into spirit essence. If there were cultivators in the eternal realm who could transform their celestial essence into spirit essence, would he still be an opponent? Not to mention Tao sculpting cultivators? He hadn't really come into contact with Tao sculpting cultivators yet. Chuan Xinluo said that he had successfully reached Tao confirming realm, but it was just his side of the story. Ning Qing didn't even know what a Tao sculpting cultivator was. Whether Hongluan and the naked dark-skinned cultivator, whom he killed, were Tao sculpting cultivators or not, Ning Qing didn't know. Now that he obtained 5 of the Grand Essence 7 Bridges spirit techniques, the most important thing for him now was to improve his cultivation. Although it wasn't realistic to advance to the late-stage eternal realm in a short time, he could still transform his celestial essence into spirit essence during this period. Once his essence chi transformed, his strength would definitely rise to a whole new level. The broken land wasn't the same as Ningcheng had imagined. According to Ningcheng's thoughts, this place should be filled with ravines and rivers. It should have looked like a scene of devastation. But after Ningcheng came to this place, he realized that his thoughts were completely wrong. The broken land didn't have any ravines at all. Even if there were some, they had been dug out by people. This place was more like a boundless, rugged plain. After entering the broken land, Ningcheng's spiritual consciousness swept out and found only human figures. The broken land was so vast that even a place as big as the striking order starry sky wouldn't be able to see it. It's just that there were too many cultivators looking for lost soil in this place. Moreover, this was just what he could see on the surface. He couldn't even count the number of cultivators looking for it underground. Ningcheng's spiritual consciousness had already reached a high level. But in this place where spiritual consciousness was restricted, no matter how powerful his spiritual consciousness was, it could only scan a small area. As Ningcheng ventured deeper, he found fewer and fewer cultivators on the surface of the broken land. Ningcheng understood that it was just a superficial phenomenon. Moreover, the essence chi fluctuations under his feet told him that many cultivators were looking for it underground. Ningcheng kept walking for a day, and felt that he had reached the depths of the broken land. Only then did he find a place to burrow underground. He had never seen lost soil before, but he knew that it was unrealistic for someone to show him something like lost soil. Fortunately, the jade strip given to him by that male cultivator had a very detailed introduction. Lost soil was the soil for cultivating Tao fruits. Since it contained the laws of heaven and earth, it was easy to recognize. Soil containing a trace of the laws of heaven and earth was indeed easy to recognize. As long as a cultivator reached the heaven-seated realm, or even a cultivator in the heaven's mandate realm, they could easily recognize it. Although it was easy to recognize, it didn't mean that it was easy to find. After Ningcheng burrowed nearly 10,000 meters underground from the place he chose, he began to seep out his spiritual consciousness to look for the lost soil. An average cultivator standing on the ground would find it hard to penetrate a few thousand meters with their spiritual consciousness. Ningcheng chose to burrow 10,000 meters underground to ensure that no cultivator could use their spiritual consciousness to sweep through the ground. 3 days later, Ningcheng felt thoroughly disappointed. He didn't slack off at all. Instead, he carefully searched for it for 3 days. During these 3 days underground, he had almost searched hundreds of miles around him in detail. However, he couldn't find a single bit of soil with the aura of laws. On the 4th day, after Ningcheng searched for another half a day, he started to beat the drums of retreat in his heart. At this rate, even if he found a fingernail-sized chunk of lost soil, it wouldn't be worth it. Ningcheng planned to search for it for another half a day. If he still couldn't find it, he would return to the Grand Essence Ruins quest hall and choose another task to earn points. Perhaps it didn't want Ningcheng to change the task. But shortly after Ningcheng made this decision, he felt a trace of law fluctuations. The fluctuations of the laws of heaven and earth were clearly different from the fluctuations of lost soil. Therefore, when Ningcheng felt this fluctuation, he immediately knew that it was lost soil. He immediately rushed over. But just when he wanted to reach out and grab the clump of lost soil, an essence chi fluctuation appeared in front of Ningcheng and swept the clump of lost soil away. Chapter 860. What appeared in the range of Ningcheng's spiritual consciousness was a round-faced, somewhat chubby late-stage eternal cultivator. He didn't look too old. But because of his chubby face, he looked like an oversized teenager. Ningcheng was ready to take action. He was the one who first discovered the lost soil. He had lost the lost soil because of his lack of experience. He didn't know that there was another way to snatch lost soil underground. As for this round-faced fat cultivator snatching the lost soil, Ningcheng didn't feel angry. He just wanted to snatch it back. In this kind of place, it was natural to be quick and not get anything. Therefore, there was nothing to be angry about. In a place that relied entirely on strength, There was nothing to be polite or fearful about. This round-faced fat cultivator seemed to know that Ning Cheng was about to take action. Therefore, after he snatched the lost soil, he didn't leave. Instead, he waved his hand and opened up a space between him and Ning Cheng. At the same time, he spoke up eagerly. "This friend, please wait." Ning Cheng's domain locked onto this fat cultivator and spoke up with a calm tone. "Who discovered this lost soil first?" The round-faced fat cultivator quickly replied. "Of course, this friend found it first. I didn't leave and wanted to discuss it with you. If I wanted to leave, you can see my talisman. You can just activate it and leave at any time. Besides, my cultivation isn't any worse than yours. If I wanted to be stronger, I wouldn't have talked to you." After saying that, the fat cultivator raised the talisman in his hand. At the same time, he stretched out his domain as if to prove his strength. Ning Cheng spoke up with a calm voice. "You can give it a try." The round-faced fat cultivator smiled and even put away the talisman in his hand. "Friend, I sincerely want to discuss with you. I don't want to snatch it and leave. This piece of lost soil is half the size of a fist and is indeed precious. But what kind of person am I, Peng Shan? Even if it's something precious, I won't snatch it. I really need this thing, which is why I snatched your lost soil. Friend, you can rest assured that I will definitely give you some compensation." Ning Cheng's killing intent dissipated a lot after the round-faced fat cultivator's words. If this fellow snatched it and left, he would have definitely killed him. "Then how about this, you split the lost soil in half for each of us." Ning Cheng's tone eased a bit. The round-faced fat cultivator called Peng Shan had a bitter look on his face. "Friend, if I could, I would definitely do that. Lost soil could be separated, but once separated, its value would greatly decrease. Moreover, it wouldn't be conducive to the absorption of the Dao fruit tree. For example, this piece of lost soil in my hand, if separated, wouldn't even be worth 1/10 of its original value." Just because Ning Cheng said that he urgently needed the lost soil, he shouldn't even think about taking it for himself. Seeing Ning Cheng's expression turning a little ugly, Peng Shan quickly took out a piece of lost soil not much bigger than a fingernail and said, "I'll give you this small piece of lost soil and give you 5,000 points, plus 50,000 spirit crystals. I also promise to owe you a favor. What do you think?" After Peng Shan stated his conditions, Ning Cheng still didn't say anything. He quickly continued, "You might not know me, but I'm from the Flaming Feather Spirit Mountain. If there's anything you can't handle in the future, you can use this to ask me for help. You should know about Flaming Feather God Mountain, right? That's one of the Grand Essence 3 sacred mountains." After saying that, Peng Shan took out another jade token and shook it in his hand. Ning Cheng shook his head and said, "I don't know about the Flaming Feather Spirit Mountain." Peng Shan suddenly felt a little discouraged. There was actually someone who didn't know about the Flaming Feather Spirit Mountain. Most people would have already shown envious looks when he mentioned the Flaming Feather Spirit Mountain. But Ning Cheng's next words made Peng Shan's eyes light up. "However, I agree to your conditions." When Peng Shan heard it, he immediately put the jade token and the fingernail-sized piece of lost soil into a ring. After throwing 50,000 spirit crystals into the ring, he handed the ring to Ning Cheng. "Thank you so much, friend. Remember that my name is Peng Shan. By the way, how should I address this friend?" Ning Cheng took out a black card and said, "My name is Ning Cheng. Do you want to give me your points first?" "Brother Ning is right. I'll give you my points." After saying that, Peng Shan took out his own point card. His point card was just a white card. Although it was a bit higher than Ning Cheng's, it wasn't much higher. The exchange of points required the consent of the owner. Otherwise, even if you snatched the other party's point card, you couldn't take away the other party's points. When Ning Cheng saw Peng Shan transfer the points to him, Peng Shan's point card only had 5,000 points. It immediately made him feel a little better about this Peng Shan. This fellow only had 5,000 points. If he had more points, maybe he would have given him more points. After transferring 5,000 points to Ning Cheng, Peng Shan looked particularly happy. "Brother Ning, thank you so much this time. I got what I wanted, so I'm going back. By the way, this is for you." After saying that, Peng Shan took out a white ball. This is a treasure for snatching lost soil. Even if you find lost soil later, with this thing, you can immediately snatch the other party's lost soil. I don't need it now, so I'll give it to Brother Ning. Ningqing already knew that Peng Shan had used some means to snatch the lost soil in a short time. Now Peng Shan really took out this thing. Ningqing smiled and refused Peng Shan's gift. He didn't need it. Okay, Brother Ning is open and above board. I'll take my leave first. If Brother Ning needs my help in the future, you must remember to come to the Flaming Feather Spirit Mountain to find me. After Peng Shan gave Ningqing a thumbs up, his figure flashed, and he instantly escaped from the ground. Seeing Peng Shan leave, Ningqing also quickly escaped from his spot. But he didn't rush out of the ground. Instead, he quickly moved underground. Before, he had agreed to trade with Peng Shan. Apart from having a good impression of Peng Shan, he also found that he also had this lost soil. Lost soil covered the edge of the mysterious yellow bead. He didn't care about it before, nor did he think about it. But now he finally remembered what was going on. The mysterious yellow bead was still in the process of taking shape, and the laws around the edge of the mysterious yellow bead continued to condense and grow. He didn't need to look for lost soil in this place at all. He just needed to dig up some soil at the edge of the mysterious yellow bead. Therefore, what Ningqing urgently needed now was to enter the mysterious yellow bead and see if the soil in the mysterious yellow bead was lost soil. If it was, then he would have made a fortune. Ningqing rushed all the way down for nearly half a day. Even he didn't know where he was before he finally stopped. Then, Ningqing began to arrange a concealment array. After arranging the concealment array, he took out the drop of drowning water. He wanted to use this drop of drowning water to cover up the aura of the mysterious yellow bead. After arranging everything, Ningqing entered the mysterious yellow bead and went straight to the edge of the mysterious yellow bead. The mysterious yellow bead was no longer the same yellow as before. After he gathered the 4 origins, the mysterious yellow bead had gained a variety of life auras. The colors had also become rich and colorful, and even the outlines of mountains and rivers could be seen. The mysterious yellow bead originally belonged to Ningqing. Therefore, Ningqing could walk around the mysterious yellow bead with ease. With just a thought, he arrived at the edge of the mysterious yellow bead. Ningqing took out the bit of lost soil he had traded with Peng Shan and dug out some soil from the edge of the mysterious yellow bead. Although the 2 clumps of soil contained different auras of laws, the soil dug out from the edge of the mysterious yellow bead was also lost soil. Ningqing slowly calmed his inner excitement and put down the lost soil from the mysterious yellow bead. After confirming this, he calmed down instead. He had to consider some issues. First, the mysterious yellow bead hadn't completely formed his world yet. Once he dug out the lost soil from the edge, would it cause a chain reaction? Second, if the lost soil he dug out from the mysterious yellow bead was different from the lost soil outside, would powerhouses discover it? If someone suspected that he had a good fortune world because of the lost soil he dug out, it wouldn't be a matter of earning points. After thinking about it for a long time, Ningqing decided to go back up, dig out some soil, and then put it on the edge of the mysterious yellow bead. If this soil could condense into lost soil, then everything would be solved. Time passed by quickly, and it had already been 3 months since Ningqing entered the Broken Land. 3 months ago, he dug out a bunch of large and small soil, and threw it on the edge of the mysterious yellow bead. After that, he stayed in the mysterious yellow bead, and refined the 7 Bridges Realm book while waiting for the lost soil to slowly form. After collecting the 5 bridge spirit techniques from the 7 Bridges Realm book, Ningqing no longer felt as clueless as before when refining it. In just 3 months, Ningqing refined more than a dozen restrictions on the 7 Bridges Realm book, which transformed into a book shadow that fell into Ningcheng's Zifu. Ningcheng's Zifu contained the everlasting Blue Thunder City and the celestial river Flame. As soon as the 7 Bridges Realm book entered his Zifu, it floated above the celestial river Flame and the everlasting Blue Thunder City. Obviously, the grade of the 7 Bridges Realm book was higher than the Divine Flame Celestial River Flame. Ningqing felt so happy that he forgot about the lost soil waiting for him to check it out. He immediately started comprehending the spirit technique, the first bridge of coping. In just half a day, he fell into an epiphany. This epiphany lasted for a few more months, and the Tao charm of the Seven Bridges Realm book merged with Ningcheng's thoughts. At the same time, the vague outline of the Bridge of Coping in the Seven Bridges Realm book slowly became clearer. Ningcheng felt a mysterious feeling of control, and he suddenly stood up from the epiphany. At the same time, he raised his hand and waved. A vague outline of a stone arch bridge appeared in front of Ningcheng, with a few scribbled words at the end of the bridge. First Bridge of Coping. Yin Qi and Tao charm flowed over the bridge, while blood and Qi surged under the bridge. Boundless Taoist rhyme aura surrounded the bridge, forming scenes after scenes. This was no longer an illusion, but a real scene. It seemed that as long as one saw this bridge, they would have to step on it, without any possibility of retreating. This was the path that every mortal had to walk, the first bridge of coping. Whether you were an immortal, a god, a ghost, a demon, or a devil, as long as you saw the first bridge of coping, you would become immortal. No return in life, no retreat in death. Once you entered, you would never return. No return, no reincarnation. Only the blood river to wash away your sins. Chapter 861. A sense of weakness washed over him, and the first bridge of coping in front of Ningcheng gradually turned illusory before finally disappearing. But Ningcheng didn't feel disappointed. Instead, he looked at the Seven Bridges Realm book in his Zifu in surprise. He had already grasped the first bridge of coping, but he couldn't display it in its entirety, because his strength wasn't high enough. Moreover, the power of the first bridge of coping had also greatly exceeded his expectations. Compared to the five-colored star splitter arrow, Ningcheng preferred the first bridge of coping. Although the five-colored star splitter arrow was powerful, the requirements it placed on him were too much. His hair was still gray because of the damage to his essence energy caused by shooting the five-colored star splitter arrow. As his strength rose in the future, the power of the first bridge of coping would only increase. His Seven Bridges Realm book contained 5 bridges spirit techniques. In other words, no matter what, he would at least comprehend 5 of the 7 bridges in the future. It was time to take a look at his law soil. After comprehending the first bridge of coping, Ningcheng was in a good mood and quickly arrived at the place where the soil was placed. Ningcheng had not picked up the soil, but he knew that he had succeeded. The soil he threw down carried some nomological aura. Clearly, it was developing in the direction he needed. As long as the soil didn't exceed the size of 2 fists, it had already transformed into law soil. The slightly larger ones were still in the process of transforming. Ningcheng quickly put the soil that had turned into law soil into a jade box and sealed it with restrictions. His mysterious yellow beads world wasn't the same as the outside world. If he didn't put away this law soil as soon as possible, it would turn into a part of the laws of the earth and become the foundation of the mysterious yellow beads world. Once that happened, the law soil would lose its effect. The law soil of the broken land might not transform into earth veins and foundations even after countless years because the laws here were already broken. The more time passed, the bigger the law soil would become. After comprehending the first bridge of coping and obtaining the law soil, Ningcheng naturally wanted to go to the quest hall to hand in the tasks to earn points. As soon as Ningcheng rushed out of the ground, he saw 2 cultivators engaged in a fierce battle. There were also some cultivators watching from the sidelines. Ningcheng didn't need to go over and ask around to understand that this must be a fight over the law soil. From the looks of it, searching for law soil in this place was not a safe thing to do. Once 2 people found it at the same time, a battle would be inevitable. Regarding this kind of thing, Ningcheng did not like to watch the excitement. He didn't even bother to pay attention to what the 2 people fighting looked like. He was about to leave. This senior apprentice brother, please help. A sound transmission fell into Ningcheng's ears. It turned out to be the voice of a female cultivator. "Huh, it's you." Ningcheng turned around and saw the female cultivator who sent him the sound transmission. He immediately recognized the female cultivator who called out to him. Half a year ago, he found out about the broken lands because of a male and female cultivator. It was that male cultivator who gave him an introduction to the broken land. Only then did Ningcheng realize that the law soil here was very valuable. Moreover, This female cultivator was the one who came with that male cultivator. However, at this moment, this female cultivator's aura was in a mess. Clearly, her injuries were not light. Ningqing immediately understood why this female cultivator called out to him and asked him for help. Of the two cultivators in the battle, one of them was with this female cultivator, the male cultivator who gave him the jade strip. Since this female cultivator asked him to help, then it should be to help the male cultivator who was with her before. At this moment, not only was the male cultivator at a disadvantage, but he was also being suppressed by the other party's divine ability. Even his domain was in tatters, and the blood energy on his body was thick. His injuries were no weaker than the female cultivators. This senior apprentice brother, my husband and I found a piece of lost soil here. He came a little later than us, but he insisted on sharing the lost soil with us. It's just too much bullying. If senior apprentice brother is willing to help, my husband and I would rather. Before this female cultivator could finish, Ningqing stopped her. Wait, you can keep the lost soil for yourselves. After saying that, Ningqing walked up. He understood that this couple must have offended an extraordinary person. If it were an ordinary person, someone would have already come to help them if they were willing to take out the lost soil. The two of you, please stop and listen to me. Ningqing didn't make a move directly. Instead, he used his domain to suppress the two people fighting. He couldn't help but sigh in his heart. This kind of thing had happened many times in the Broken Land. It was just like the situation between him and Peng Shan. Only he and Peng Shan had settled it peacefully. As long as one wasn't a fool, one wouldn't intervene in such things under normal circumstances. But Ningqing had to care about it. For him, this couple had helped him a lot. Although the couple's help wasn't worth mentioning, he couldn't pretend not to hear them just because the other party wanted his help wasn't a trivial matter. Ningqing's domain's imposing aura was extremely powerful. Although he didn't fully stretch out his domain, in front of these two late-stage eternal cultivators, his domain still broke through the domain-imposing aura created by the two people fighting. The surrounding cultivators, on seeing someone meddling in other people's business, started whispering to each other. This couple were rogue cultivators and hadn't joined any alliances. Moreover, the couple fighting for the lost soil was a member of the Beyond Heaven Path. Although the Beyond Heaven Path wasn't as powerful as the Rogue Cultivator Alliance, the Tao Confirming Alliance, or the Spirit Thunder Alliance, it was still a well-known alliance within the Grand Essence Ruins. Facing such a situation, not to mention not knowing this couple, even if someone knew them, they wouldn't necessarily come forward to help. Because of this, some people felt strange when they saw Ningqing coming forward to mediate. Some people even guessed which alliance Ningqing came from. After all, only cultivators from the Grand Alliance would dare to mediate for the lost soil. As soon as Ningqing's domain suppressed them, the male cultivator, who had fallen into a disadvantageous position, seized the opportunity to retreat and land beside Ningqing. At the same time, he spoke up with cupped fists. Many thanks for the help, friend. Jing Weiran can't thank you enough. Jing Weiran's aura wasn't only weak, but it also felt unstable. From the looks of it, he had suffered heavy injuries. After thanking Ningqing, he rushed to the side of the female cultivator, held her up, and asked anxiously, Yuling, are you okay? Who are you? Why are you interfering in other people's private affairs? The cultivator fighting Jing Weiran was a square-faced man with thick lips. Although he also had a late-stage eternal cultivation, his aura felt much deeper than Jing Weiran's. Without waiting for Ningqing to speak, the female cultivator named Yuling spoke up loudly. Jing Wuya, do you have any shame? Do you want to rob us just because you're from the Beyond Heaven Path? We clearly saw the lost soil first. Yet you still have the face to say that it's your own private affairs? The man named Jing Wuya didn't care about Yuling's curses at all. He still stared at Ningqing coldly and said, If you don't tell me the reason, then I'll take it as you provoking my Beyond Heaven Path. If it's just a misunderstanding, then if this friend leaves now, I, Jing Wuya, will definitely repay you in the future. If it weren't for Ningqing's domain-imposing manner, he would have already started. Ningqing sneered in his heart. Repay in the future? The murderous aura emanating from this male cultivator named Jing Wuya had almost condensed into a solid substance. Moreover, he He even used the Beyond Heaven path to threaten him. This fellow didn't have the slightest intention of repaying him in the future. Even if Ningcheng retreated now, this enmity would most likely be formed. Once Jing Wuya killed this couple, he would most likely be hunted down. Ningcheng spoke up with a flat tone. Jing Weiran and his wife are my friends. Please give me some face and let this matter go. If Dao friend feels that it's a loss then. Originally, Ningcheng planned to ask Jing Weiran and his wife for some compensation. After all, Jing Weiran and his wife weren't opponents of this person. However, he didn't say this out of fear of Jing Wuya, but out of consideration for Jing Weiran and his wife. After all, if he compensated Jing Wuya, it would be equivalent to letting this matter go. Otherwise, as long as Jing Weiran and his wife tried to survive in this place, they would have to face the threat of the Beyond Heaven path. For himself, he didn't fear the Beyond Heaven path, but he also didn't want to form an enmity with the Beyond Heaven path over such a trivial matter. But before Ningcheng could speak about the other conditions, Jing Wuya sneered. Your face? What's your face worth? Brother Yulian, let's join forces and kill this thing who doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. As Jing Wuya's voice fell, a lightning-like figure appeared behind Ningcheng. Together with Jing Wuya, the two of them surrounded Ningcheng from the front and the back. This fellow was also a late-stage eternal powerhouse, and his aura didn't lose out to Jing Wuya. After this cultivator named Yulian arrived, he didn't even speak half a word of nonsense. Instead, he brought out his weapon and unleashed his domain to suppress Ningcheng. Moreover, the naked killing intent coming from this domain was completely exposed. Ningcheng's face sank. He understood that this matter wouldn't end well. He had always been a person who didn't like to talk nonsense. Since the other party wanted to kill him, he didn't want to take a step back. Bringing out a top-grade Dao artifact long spear, Ningcheng's domain's imposing aura skyrocketed once again. This time, it was no longer in a mediating state like before. Ningcheng's principle was to avoid fighting if possible. Once he started, he wouldn't show any mercy. When the surrounding cultivators saw Ningcheng bring out a top-grade Dao artifact long spear, most of them shook their heads speechlessly. Some of them couldn't bear to continue watching. In the Grand Essence ruins, even the worst late-stage eternal cultivator would have at least a low-grade spirit artifact, or at least a half-spirit artifact. But people like Ningcheng, who used a Dao artifact long spear, were truly rare. Jing Weiran, on seeing Ningcheng bring out a Dao artifact long spear, quickly brought out a weapon and rushed up to help. Ningcheng suddenly spoke up. Brother Jing, you don't have to come up. Just stay here and heal. Also, help me hold the line. I have something to ask in a while. Jing Weiran froze for a moment, but he still listened to Ningcheng's words and didn't go up. He was also an arrow at the end of its flight at this moment. If Ningcheng hadn't helped him, he would have already died. The cultivators watching the battle naturally couldn't see Ningcheng's domain suppression. But Jing Wuya and the other cultivator, who had just arrived, could feel the powerful suppression coming from Ningcheng's domain. Jing Wuya's expressions changed. By now, how could he not understand that Ningcheng hadn't used his full strength when he tried to mediate the fight? But this time, without waiting for him to speak, Ningcheng had already started. The top-grade Dao artifact long spear turned into endless spear patterns and swept out. From the looks of it, Ningcheng was trapped by two cultivators, one from the front and one from the back. But after Ningcheng started, the domain around him gave off cracking sounds. Before the surrounding people could clearly see whose domain had shattered, the spear pattern traces that filled the sky directly ignored the space and covered the two of them in an overwhelming manner. The domain shattered inch by inch, and the surrounding space disappeared. As the spear patterns covered the sky, Jing Wuya's heart instantly sank to the bottom. He couldn't even bring out his spirit technique. He knew that he was in big trouble. Chapter 862. Stop! Jing Wuya screamed. If he couldn't even use his spirit technique, it meant that he and Ningcheng weren't on the same level at all. If they weren't on the same level, continuing to fight would only be courting death. Not only did Jing Wuya scream out, even Yulian, who had rushed over without saying a single word and directly attacked Ningcheng, also felt regret. If he had known that Jing Wuya's opponent was such a terrifying fellow, suppressing him to the point that he couldn't even attack, he would never have acted so coldly. This is a misunderstanding. For the sake of his life, how could Yu Lian continue to act so coldly? Misunderstanding? Ningcheng sneered. If his cultivation were worse, this misunderstanding would have killed him a long time ago. Not to mention stopping. Ningcheng not only didn't stop, but his celestial essence also surged out violently. He would never give these two fellows a chance to breathe. If he wanted to do it, he would kill them all at once. Let these two fellows take a breather, and then slowly fight with him. He wasn't in the mood to do so. What's more, the traceless spirit technique was silent. Since he had cast it, he wouldn't take it back. He didn't want to leave even a trace on his traceless spear pattern. Poof! While the spear pattern trapped Jing Wuya and Yu Lian, Ningcheng's top-grade Dao artifact long spear tore the two into pieces. The sound of celestial essence explosion disappeared, and Ningcheng raised his hand to put away the two rings. The surrounding cultivators felt dumbfounded. They couldn't even react before the battle ended. Who was this gray-haired cultivator? How could he be so terrifying? How could he be an eternal cultivator? This person definitely surpassed the eternal realm. Even if he hadn't reached Dao-confirming realm, he was still a powerhouse. If you don't have anything else to say, then please leave. Just now the two people from Beyond Heaven Path took the initiative to attack me. Presumably, everyone saw it. Although I'm in the right, I don't like to meddle. So I hope that everyone can forget about today's matter. If one day I find out from someone in Beyond Heaven Path that I did it, even if I have to go to the ends of the earth, I will hunt you down. Ningcheng knew that his threat wouldn't have much effect, but it could at least ease the situation for a while, and let Beyond Heaven Path know that he killed the two cultivators from Beyond Heaven Path. With Ningcheng's strength reaching such a level, only a fool would continue to stay here. After Ningcheng's words came out, the crowd immediately dispersed, leaving only Ningcheng and the Jing Weiran couple. Jing Weiran seemed shocked by Ningcheng's strength. Only when Ningcheng walked over did he react. He quickly bowed in fear and thanked Ningcheng. At the same time, he took out a jade box and handed it to Ningcheng. Many thanks for Senior's help. This is a piece of law soil that my wife and I obtained. Ningcheng waved his hand. I don't have any use for this law soil. You and your wife should leave this place as soon as possible, and find a way to escape. I killed a cultivator from Beyond Heaven Path, so I don't think they'll let us go. Jing Weiran and Yuling apologized to Ningcheng with shame. If it weren't for them, Ningcheng wouldn't have offended the Beyond Heaven Path. For this couple, even if Ningcheng did not remind them, they would have already flown far away. The husband and wife were just insignificant rogue cultivators. They had offended the Beyond Heaven Path. Yet they still wanted to stay in the Grand Essence ruins? My wife and I have implicated Senior. Jing Weiran no longer regarded Ningcheng as a cultivator in the same realm as him. Two late-stage eternal cultivators, who were much stronger than him, besieged Ningcheng. Yet Ningcheng killed them in an instant. From this, it also showed that Ningcheng's cultivation had long since surpassed his. Ningcheng smiled. It's not that I've implicated you. Since I'm in the Grand Essence ruins, this kind of thing would have happened sooner or later. It doesn't make any difference whether it's a day earlier or a day later. Anyway, I have something to ask you and your wife about. Ningcheng didn't speak nonsense. If not for Peng Shan's honesty, he might have already killed Peng Shan. From what Peng Shan said, the Flaming Feather Spirit Mountain probably wasn't a small sect. After he killed Peng Shan, the Flaming Feather Spirit Mountain would definitely investigate. But now he didn't have a feud with the Flaming Feather Spirit Mountain. Instead, he had a feud with the Beyond Heaven Path because of Jing Weiran and his wife. Therefore, apart from forbearance, this kind of thing would have happened sooner or later. In the face of powerhouses that he couldn't resist, Ningcheng might have endured it for a while, and then come back when he grew stronger. But in the face of two eternal cultivators, Ningcheng would never endure it. Senior, please instruct me. Jing Weiran, who felt very guilty towards Ningcheng, replied with even more respect. Ningcheng knew that the Jing Weiran couple also wanted to leave as soon as possible. Therefore, he made a long story short. How strong is the Beyond Heaven Path? Who was the strongest expert? What was his cultivation level? Do you have any special backing? Ningqing didn't ask these questions without a purpose. If the Beyond Heaven path was too powerful, then he wouldn't have to worry about it. Therefore, he decided to cancel the idea of going to the Grand Essence Ruins Quest Hall to hand over the task. The Grand Essence Quest Hall might have many good things. No matter how good something was, it was not as important as his life. If Beyond Heaven Path's strength wasn't enough for him to escape, he would still do what he was supposed to do. Jing Weiran bowed and replied, "The Beyond Heaven Path is far inferior to the Tao Confirming Alliance, the Rogue Cultivator Alliance, the Sword Mausoleum, and the God Thunder Alliance. It was a somewhat famous alliance in the Grand Essence Ruins. The Alliance Master, Fei Er, was a Tao sculpting powerhouse. His most famous spirit technique was the Limitless Collapsing Thunder. It was very powerful, and it was also known as the Grand Essence Little Spirit Thunder. Among Tao sculpting cultivators of the same rank, there were not many who could defeat Fei Er in a one-on-one fight. Deputy Alliance Master Ranhausen and Fei Er are sworn brothers, and are also half-step Tao sculpting powerhouses. The Beyond Heaven Path has more than 20 full-circle eternal cultivators, and even more eternal cultivators. As for the backing of the Beyond Heaven Path, I don't know if they have any. Only one Tao sculpting cultivator?" Ningqing felt a bit relieved. He didn't know if Hongluan was a Tao sculpting cultivator or not. But even if Hongluan wasn't a Tao sculpting cultivator, he shouldn't be too far off. With his current strength, even if he wasn't Fei Er's opponent, it should be a piece of cake for him to escape. As for Ranhausen, a half-step Tao sculpting cultivator, Ningqing directly ignored him. Ningqing, who originally wanted to escape, decided not to do so after learning about Fei Er's strength. Once he completely transformed his celestial essence into spirit essence, so what if he was a Tao sculpting cultivator? He came to the Grand Essence Ruins to look for Yanji, but he hadn't found her yet. Moreover, the Grand Essence Ruins was a place that helped cultivation a lot. There were treasures everywhere. Since he didn't care about points, why not exchange for more good things? As for the favor Peng Shan mentioned, Ningqing never intended to ask for it. In his opinion, after the transaction with Peng Shan, there was no such thing as a favor. If he didn't ask for anything from Peng Shan, it would have been a favor. "I got it. I'm leaving. You should also get ready to leave. Goodbye." After Ningqing finished, his figure flashed and he immediately left. Jing Weiran and his wife naturally understood the dangers of staying here. After Ningqing left, the two quickly took out their concealment masks and instantly left the place. When Ningqing returned, he brought out the starry sky wheel. The speed at which he returned was more than 10 times faster than when he entered the Grand Essence Ruins. The Grand Essence Ruins Quest Hall still had many people coming and going. Because of the enmity between him and the Beyond Heaven Path, Ningqing had to be very careful after entering the Quest Hall. He didn't know if the news of what he did hadn't come back, or if his warning had worked. But after he entered the Quest Hall, no spiritual consciousness fell on him. Ningqing went straight to the material-related task handover area, and found a window to sit down. A young female cultivator with a pair of crescent moon eyebrows greeted him. "Excuse me, what task do you want to hand over?" The female cultivator's voice was crisp and had a touch of affinity. Ningqing, who had been tense the entire time, felt an extremely comfortable feeling when he heard this soft and crisp voice. He immediately relaxed his mind. It seemed that he had been too careful. Even if Fei Er from the heaven-seated path stopped him, he wouldn't feel afraid. Not to mention that fighting wasn't allowed within the scope of the Grand Essence Ruins public square. Even if he did fight, so what? He didn't need to be too afraid. As if feeling Ningqing's relaxed mood, the female cultivator smiled. Apparently, they had received special training to let the cultivators who came to hand over their tasks relax. "I want to ask which task is related to the lost soil?" Ningqing nodded and asked. When the female cultivator heard that Ningqing came to hand over the lost soil task, the smile on her face grew even wider. "Lost soil is the 163rd material task. Are you here to hand over the lost soil task?" For her, the cultivators who came here to hand over their tasks would also earn her points. For every 10,000 points she received, she would earn 1 point. If she was lucky, she could earn a dozen points a day. If she met someone who handed over a task worth more than 1,000,000 points, her income would increase tenfold. Of course, she had never encountered such a thing even after working here for so many years. No one could hand over 1,000,000 points at once. Even if such a thing happened, it wouldn't be related to materials. Most of them were spirit techniques or top-grade Dao fruits. Moreover, lost soil had a high number of points, which meant that she might even earn half or even a full point from Ningcheng today. Yes, I want to hand over the lost soil. Ningcheng took out a jade box and handed it over. The female cultivator took the jade box and carefully opened it. When she saw a fist-sized chunk of lost soil in the jade box, she almost screamed out loud. However, she quickly controlled her excitement and reached out to close Ningcheng's jade box. Then she spoke to Ningcheng with an even more polite tone. I can't estimate your lost soil points. Please wait a moment. I'll ask the deacon to come over. Ningcheng could tell from her slightly trembling tone that she was afraid of changing to another window to exchange points. In fact, this female cultivator truly thought so. After the deacon came over to assess the lost soil points, she would still get a commission. She naturally didn't want to lose this small income just because she couldn't assess the points. Ningcheng smiled. It doesn't matter, you can call. The female cultivator pressed a crystal ball next to her and made a few hand seals on it. In just a few breaths, a red-faced old man rushed to the female cultivator's side. Who wants to hand over a fist-sized chunk of lost soil? Where's the lost soil? The old man asked anxiously before he could even stand still. Lost soil of this size was too scarce. But now that a piece of it had arrived, he naturally felt excited. The female cultivator quickly handed over the jade box before pointing to Ningcheng and saying, This Dao friend came to hand it over. Chapter 863. The red-faced old man gave a warm greeting to Ningcheng, while simultaneously opening the jade box in his hands. Good stuff. When the red-faced old man saw the lost soil in the jade box, he couldn't help but exclaim. He wasn't the female cultivator who handed over the task. In the quest hall, he had seen too many pieces of lost soil. He had even seen a lot of pieces several times bigger than the one Ningcheng brought out. But he had never seen one with such clear laws. The clearer the law Dao charm of the lost soil, the more valuable it was. The lost soil that Ningcheng brought out wasn't small, but it also had a clear law vein. The law aura of this kind of lost soil could be easily absorbed by the Dao fruit tree and sold for a higher price. This Dao friend, your lost soil has a very high grade. I'll give you 150,000 points and 150,000 spirit crystals. How about it? The red-faced old man looked at Ningcheng eagerly. Ningcheng showed a slight smile. I don't have any objections. Seeing Ningcheng so easy to talk to, the red-faced old man felt happy and was just about to urge the excited female cultivator next to him to help Ningcheng handle the points when he heard Ningcheng continue. I have a few more pieces here. While speaking, Ningcheng took out 4 more pieces of lost soil. The 3 big pieces were the size of 2 fists. And even the small piece was almost the same size as the one Ningcheng had taken out before. Even if the red-faced deacon had seen too much of the world, he still felt shocked by Ningcheng's actions. The bigger the lost soil, the more valuable it was. Similarly, the clearer the law vein, the more valuable it was. The pieces of lost soil that Ningcheng took out were not only big, but also had a clear law vein. He excitedly grabbed the few jade boxes Ningcheng took out, and the look in his eyes turned even more eager. As for the female cultivator next to him, her hands trembled slightly with excitement. She could see that if Ningcheng took out all the lost soil and traded it for points, the points would definitely exceed 1 million. For her, as long as she handed over a task with more than 1,000,000 points, the commission she received would increase tenfold. In other words, as long as Ningcheng handed over more than 1,000,000 points, her commission wouldn't just be 100 points, but more than 1,000 points. More than 1,000 points was not a small amount for her. These points were more than enough for her to go to the Quest Hall's merchant house in exchange for many cultivation resources. The red-faced old man checked Ningcheng's lost soil several times before putting it all into the jade box. He then looked at Ningcheng and said, A total of 5 pieces of lost soil. I'll give you 1. 5 million points, plus 1. 5 million spirit crystals. After saying that, the red-faced old man looked at Ningqing eagerly. Even if Ningqing didn't use this lost soil for quests and took it out for auction, everyone would fight for it. He wanted to ask Ningqing where he got his lost soil. Fortunately, he knew that it was an extremely taboo topic. Therefore, he held back and didn't ask about it. Sure. Ningqing nodded in agreement without hesitation. He also knew that taking out 5 pieces of lost soil at once would put him in the limelight. For the sake of strength, he had no choice but to do so. Moreover, Ningqing also knew that the lost soil business was a one-shot business. After this one, it would never happen again. He didn't dare to continue to take out more lost soil from the mysterious yellow bead. Not only did he worry about taking too much lost soil from the mysterious yellow bead, but he also worried that someone would investigate him. If Ningqing was lucky enough to find several pieces of lost soil at once, it would still be acceptable. But if he could find so much lost soil every time, it wouldn't be something that could be explained by luck. Regardless of the reason, Ningqing decided not to take out any more lost soil from the mysterious yellow bead for points. Hearing Ningqing's agreement, the red-faced old man finally felt relieved. The female cultivator felt even more happy. She tried to calm herself down and said to Ningqing, "Please take out the quest card. I will help you exchange for the quest points." Ningqing took out the black card and handed it to the female cultivator. When the female cultivator saw that Ningqing's quest card was just a black card, she immediately froze. A cultivator who wanted to exchange for 1.5 million points at once, yet he took out a black card. No one would believe it if she said it out loud. But with good professionalism, she quickly returned to normal. A soft smile appeared on her face as she helped Ningqing exchange for 1.5 million quest points. At the same time, she also gave Ningqing 1.5 million spirit crystals. Not only did she obtain more than 1 million spirit crystals, but she also obtained 1.5 million points. The first thing Ningqing wanted to do now was to go to the Quest Hall's merchant house to exchange for some cultivation resources. After that, he would find a place to go into seclusion and transform his celestial essence into spirit essence. "Hey, senior apprentice brother Ning, did you also come to hand in a quest?" A surprised voice called out to Ningqing, who had just walked out of the quest hall. Ningqing quickly cupped his fists and said, "So it's junior apprentice sister Kong Ning." "Yes, I just finished handing in my quest." "Did junior apprentice sister Kong Ning also come to hand in your quest?" Ningqing recognized the female cultivator, who called out to him. She was Kong Ning, whom he had met in the Defying Ice Mound. Kong Ning was a disciple of the River Luo sacred sect. She had invited Ningqing to join the River Luo sacred sect together, but Ningqing had refused. Ningqing didn't expect to meet her here. There was another man and a woman next to Kong Ning. The male cultivator looked very handsome, and the white cultivator robes he wore made him look even more extraordinary. Not only did this male cultivator look handsome, but he also had a powerful cultivation aura. Ningqing estimated that this male cultivator's cultivation wasn't any worse than Hongluan's. The female cultivator wore a light cyan robe, had snow-white skin and slender eyebrows. Her long hair was tied into a fairy-like bun, which added a touch of fairy-like charm to her. Kong Ning was definitely a beauty, but standing next to this female cultivator, she immediately paled in comparison. Of course, this was only the first impression of a bystander. In Ningqing's opinion, Kong Ning's appearance didn't lose out to this female cultivator. It's just that Kong Ning wore a gray robe and didn't dress up at all, which made her look like a far cry from this female cultivator. In Ningqing's opinion, this female cultivator's cultivation should be at the full circle eternal realm. However, Ningqing didn't like her appearance. He had a cold expression on his face, as if someone owed him money and didn't want to pay it back. That being said, when the man and woman stood together, they did look like a celestial couple. "No, senior apprentice brother Ing, senior apprentice sister Yaotzen, and I went to participate in the Dao confirming exchange at the Quest Merchant House. By the way, I haven't introduced you yet. This is senior apprentice brother Ing Yongxian from the 7-star sacred shrine, one of the 3 sacred shrines. This is my senior apprentice sister Shan Yaotzen. As Kong Ning spoke until here, she then introduced the two cultivators to the man and woman. Senior apprentice brother Ing, senior apprentice sister Yaotzen. This is senior apprentice brother Ningcheng. He helped me in the defying ice mound before. Ningcheng was just about to step forward and greet them. After all, Shan Yaotzen and Ing Yongxian both had higher cultivation than him, and came from big sections 3 sacred shrines. Just by listening to the name, one could tell that they weren't small. But Ningcheng had just taken a step forward when he suddenly stopped. Ing Yongxian and Shan Yaotzen didn't even glance at him after hearing Kong Ning's introduction. Even if the other party was a Dao perfection expert, Ningcheng wouldn't go near them. Seeing Ningcheng stop and frown, Kong Ning looked embarrassed. Ningcheng smiled and said to Kong Ning, "Junior apprentice sister Kong Ning, how can I go to the Quest Merchant House's Dao confirming exchange?" Kong Ning quickly asked, "Senior apprentice brother Ning, do you want to go there too?" Ningcheng nodded. "Yeah, I just finished handing over the task, and have some points on me. So I want to exchange them for some cultivation resources, and then find a place to go into seclusion for a while." "That's true, but you need a silver card to enter the Dao confirming exchange." "Wait a minute." After Kong Ning finished, she turned to the two people next to her and said, "Senior apprentice brother Ing, senior apprentice sister Yaotzen, you both have silver cards. A silver card can take one person in. Why don't you take senior apprentice brother Ningcheng with you?" Shan Yaotzen finally glanced at Ningcheng with a cold gaze, but she didn't answer Kong Ning's words. Instead, she turned around and walked away. The male cultivator named Ing Yongxian, on seeing Shan Yaotzen leave, also chased after her. Kong Ning frowned slightly. After a while, she apologetically said to Ningcheng, "Senior apprentice brother Ningcheng, I'm really sorry. My task card is a white card, and I can't take anyone in." Ningcheng didn't mind it and said, "It's okay. You can go. It doesn't matter if I go or not. I don't have many points anyway." Shan Yaotzen, who had walked a few meters away, heard Ningcheng say that he didn't have many points, and a trace of disdain appeared on her face. Did she even need to say such words? Even if she didn't say it, people would know that she didn't have many points. Ningcheng didn't pretend to be poor. He didn't have any concept of points, and he truly didn't know that one. 5 million points was a lot. After all, he used hundreds of millions of permanent essence pills for cultivation. Therefore 5 million points wasn't a lot in his eyes. Kong Ning felt even more embarrassed and ashamed. If the Dao confirming exchange hadn't started yet, Kong Ning would have helped Ningcheng find a way. It's just that the exchange was about to start, and she couldn't do anything about it. This Dao confirming exchange was very important to her, and she had to attend it. Therefore, she could only say goodbye to Ningcheng in a hurry, and prepare to compensate Ningcheng in other ways after coming out of the exchange. Just as Kong Ning caught up with Shan Yaotzen, Ningcheng heard Shan Yaotzen's low voice. "Junior apprentice sister Ning, you're a disciple of one of the 3 sacred sects, yet you call a cultivator who hasn't even reached the late-stage eternal realm senior apprentice brother. If this matter spreads out, my River Luo sacred sect would lose a lot of face." Hearing this, Kong Ning frowned slightly. If it weren't for the Dao confirming resources, she would have already turned around and left. Thinking that everyone was from River Luo sacred sect, Kong Ning held back her anger and said, "Senior apprentice brother Ning isn't an ordinary eternal cultivator. His strength is enough to make him a king in the eternal realm. What's more, I owe him a favor." Not waiting for Shan Yaotzen to say anything, Ing Yongxian chuckled and said, "Forget it. Kong Ning has a kind heart. After all, the Grand Essence Ruins is open to everyone, and there are all kinds of people here. Some people have a way with words, and even I can't help but believe them sometimes." After hearing Ing Yongxuan's words, Kong Ning stopped talking. She felt that there was no need to continue explaining to these two people. After all, everyone had their own ideas. Ningcheng naturally didn't care about what these two people said to him. He just wanted to enter the Quest Hall's merchant house and participate in the Dao confirming exchange. Chapter 864. Pa. A huge palm slammed onto the jade tea table. This exquisite jade tea table was smashed into pieces by this slap. The person who smashed the coffee table was a malicious-looking blonde man, with a high nose bridge. When others saw this man, they would first notice his palms. His arms were much longer than the average person's. Not only that, but his palms looked like a pair of large dustpans. You found out. Sitting opposite him was a man and a woman. The man had short hair and a short beard. He was burly and looked very young. The blonde man nodded and threw the crystal ball in his hand to the young male cultivator who asked. The young male cultivator took the crystal ball and swept his spiritual consciousness inside. A moment later, his expression turned ugly and he said coldly, "I thought it was a sacred force that wanted to go against my beyond heaven path, but it turned out to be a brat that still reeks of his mother's milk." With that, the young male cultivator handed the crystal ball to the female cultivator next to him. Although Ningcheng had a head full of gray hair, the two of them were powerhouses, and could see at a glance that Ningcheng was not that old. The angry blonde man was Beyond Heaven Path's Union Master Fei Er, while the young-looking male cultivator was Sky-Seated Path's Deputy Sect Master Ranhausen. The last female cultivator to look at the crystal ball was Deacon Yuan Qianping of Beyond Heaven Path. Yuan Qianping was equivalent to the brains of Beyond Heaven Path. Almost all of Beyond Heaven Path's strategies had her shadow in them. Yuan Qianping once again brought out a tea table and placed the crystal ball on it. She then poured a cup of spiritual tea for Fei Er and Ranhausen before speaking up. Looking at this person's strength, he should be at the full circle of the eternal realm. Moreover, he should be an eternal cultivator with outstanding strength. Since he had confirmed his identity as a rogue cultivator, things would be much easier. However, we have to find this person as soon as possible. We can't let this drag on. The reason why Fei Er was angry wasn't because Jing Wuya and Yu Lian of Beyond Heaven Path were killed, but because it was a rogue cultivator who killed them. If even a rogue cultivator could provoke Beyond Heaven Path, then not to mention developing in the starry skies, Beyond Heaven Path wouldn't even be able to stay in the Grand Essence ruins. Junior Sister Qianping, why do you say that we can't drag this on? The Grand Essence ruins was boundless, and even Tao Perfection powerhouses couldn't search every corner. If this person wants to hide, even if we issue a mission, I'm afraid it will be very difficult to find him in a short time, Ranhausen said in a deep voice. Yuan Qianping pointed to the recording crystal ball. From this crystal ball, we can see that this person's strength is indeed formidable. Only a few sacred sons can suppress him with eternal realm cultivation. Moreover, the Grand Essence Great Meat is just around the corner. If the big sects of the Grand Essence domain learn of this person's strength, I'm afraid that they will do everything possible to absorb him into their sect. Before Yuan Qianping could finish her words, Fei Er and Ranhausen understood what was going on. The two of them nodded and said, "That's right, we need to get rid of this person as soon as possible." No matter how strong the Beyond Heaven Path was, it could not be compared to those powerful sects with deep foundations. If this rogue cultivator really joined one of the big sects, then it would be very difficult for Beyond Heaven Path to take revenge. Raphael frowned after saying this. Ranhausen's words weren't without reason. The Grand Essence Ruins was a vast place. Where would they find a rogue cultivator who wanted to hide? Yuan Qianping spoke up with confidence. "Two elder brothers, you don't have to worry. I'm guessing that this rogue cultivator will most likely come out of the Grand Essence Ruins. He might even appear in the Grand Essence Ruins public square." Don't look at Ranhausen's youthful appearance. Just like Fei Er, he was an old demon who had lived for countless years. They hadn't been at the edge of the Grand Essence Ruins for a day or two, and they had experienced countless things. As soon as Yuan Qianping said this, the two immediately thought of the key point, and their eyes lit up. Ranhausen laughed. Junior apprentice Sister Qianping is more attentive. Judging from the crystal ball, this person saved that couple. That couple would definitely hand over the law soil to this person. As long as he has the law soil, he might take the risk to come to the Grand Essence Ruins Quest Hall to hand over the task. He might even go to the Quest Hall's merchant house. Yuan Qianping nodded. That's just one of the reasons. Secondly, since he dared to attack people from my Beyond Heaven Path, It shows that this person is bold and doesn't even put my beyond heaven path in his eyes. This kind of person has a lot of pride, so it makes sense for him to go to the quest hall to hand over the task. Yuan Qianping's guess wasn't completely correct, but she also guessed that Ning Cheng would come here to hand over the lost soil task. She guessed one thing right. Since Ning Cheng dared to come out of the Grand Essence ruins, it meant that he didn't fear the beyond heaven path. Even if he wanted to hide, he would have to wait until he exchanged for a lot of cultivation resources before finding a place to go into seclusion. At this time, Ning Cheng stood at the entrance of the quest hall's merchant house. After repeated inquiries, he understood that he wouldn't be able to get in without help. Ning Cheng had already inquired about the start time of the Dao confirming exchange, and found that there was less than half an hour left. Seeing many powerhouses enter the merchant house, Ning Cheng felt even more anxious. This kind of exchange would definitely have a lot of good things. Moreover, he had more than 5 million points, so it wouldn't be of much use for him to spend them on the black floor of the merchant house. 2 more beautiful female cultivators walked over. Ning Cheng took a look at these two and understood that they must have come to participate in the Dao confirming exchange. At this time, Ning Cheng couldn't care about anything else. He took the initiative to walk in front of the two and cupped his fists. 2 senior apprentice sisters, please. What's the matter? The tall female cultivator glanced at Ning Cheng with a cold gaze, and spoke with an equally cold tone. Ning Cheng quickly spoke up. 2 senior apprentice sisters, I don't have a silver card, but I really want to participate in the Dao confirming exchange. I want to ask 2 senior apprentice sisters to take me in. I'm willing to pay some of my points. Before Ning Cheng could finish speaking, the tall female cultivator's imposing aura pressed down on Ning Cheng. At the same time, she coldly shouted, "Get lost." Ning Cheng's expression turned ugly. It was fine if they didn't agree, but why were these people so arrogant? What's so great about a silver card? Even if I spend all my points, I'll still have a silver card. Hee, you really dare to think that you want a woman from the 9 revolving sacred Dao pond to take you into the exchange? A gloating voice arrived. Ning Cheng turned around and found that it was a female cultivator. It's just that this female cultivator wasn't beautiful at all. She had a chubby face, and when she smiled, her eyes squeezed into slits. This face always gave Ning Cheng a familiar feeling. This senior apprentice sister, is the 9 revolving sacred Dao pond very arrogant? Ning Cheng asked with cupped fists. The fat female cultivator laughed again. This 9 revolving sacred Dao pond is one of the Grand Essence's 3 sacred sections. Don't you think they're arrogant? Did you see that woman who told you to get lost? She's called Shi Yishuang, and the one next to her is called Na Yuanxiang. Well, in your words, they all think they're arrogant. In my opinion, they're just a bit prettier than others. But they all act like a potty, with their eyes and noses facing the sky. Ning Cheng could still hear some sourness in this fat female cultivator's words. Most likely it was because she couldn't eat the grapes. Don't worry if they don't take you in, I'll take you in. Isn't it just a bullshit silver card? This old lady also has one. The fat female cultivator didn't have the slightest hint of a ladylike tone. She kept talking about potty, bullshit, and this old lady. Ning Cheng didn't care about what this female cultivator was talking about. When he heard that this female cultivator wanted to take him in, he quickly cupped his fists and thanked her. Many thanks, senior apprentice sister, for helping me. The fat female cultivator showed a sly smile. I'm not helping you for nothing. I just heard you say that you want to give me points. How many points do you have? Give me half, and I'll take you in. Half. Ning Cheng frowned. He only had 55 million points in total. If he gave her half, what could he do with more than 700,000 points? Humph, what's wrong? You don't want to? Forget it then. I, Peng Ruimei, am not a person who takes points from others. Goodbye. The fat female cultivator turned around and left. Ning Cheng suddenly remembered something and called out. Do you know Peng Shan? Where is he now? Hey, do you know my younger brother? Peng Ruimei stopped and looked at Ning Cheng in doubt. Ning Cheng took out a jade card and said, Peng Shan gave it to me. My name is Ning Cheng, and I helped him in the past. If you go back and ask your younger brother, he will definitely tell you. Oh, so you're Ningcheng. Why didn't you say so earlier? Come on, come with me. I don't need you to pay a single point. I also want to thank you for helping my younger brother find such a big piece of lost oil. Peng Ruimei's face changed quickly. After hearing that Ningcheng was her younger brother Peng Shan's friend, she immediately turned enthusiastic. Many thanks, senior apprentice Sister Peng. Ningcheng felt overjoyed and thanked her again. Peng Ruimei waved her hand. I really want to thank you for Peng Shan's matter. You should know that beautiful women nowadays think that their flesh is precious. Bah, in fact, it's all the same even if you take off your clothes. But Peng Shan is such a disappointment. He likes that woman to death. Yet, that woman insisted on giving him a piece of lost oil as a betrothal gift. If it were me, I would have kicked him a long time ago. He actually wants to go to the Grand Essence ruins to find lost oil. Ningcheng was speechless to the extreme. This elder sister of Peng Shan really spoke without thinking, and was very bold. Fortunately, Ningcheng didn't need to answer. The two had already arrived at the place where the Grand Essence Ruins Quest Merchant House held the trade fair. After entering the trade fair's main hall, Ningcheng sighed in his heart. This place truly had many powerhouses. The Dao charm aura lingered in the air, and every corner contained the aura of powerhouses. The hall was spacious, and many cultivators came in. Ningcheng glanced around and found that there were no less than 1,000 people. The entire trade fair's main hall was shaped like a pot, with a round table and a huge crystal ball screen at the bottom. It looked similar to the auction stage used in auctions. The cultivators participating in the trade fair sat around the hall. Although Peng Ruimei was tough, she didn't speak loudly after entering the trading hall. Instead, she gestured for Ningcheng to find a seat and sit down. "Huh, senior apprentice brother Ning. You also came in?" Kong Ning's surprised voice rang out beside Ningcheng. Ningcheng also saw Kong Ning, Shan Yaozhen and Ning Yongxian. He smiled and nodded. "Yeah, my friend helped me." Peng Ruimei also saw Kong Ning and the other two and frowned slightly before asking, "Are these three your friends?" Ningcheng quickly explained, "No, only junior apprentice Sister Kong Ning is my friend. I don't know the others." Shan Yaozhen and Ning Yongxian heard Ningcheng's words and gave a cold snort but didn't speak. Peng Ruimei nodded. "That's right. You have to be careful when making friends. You can't make friends with just anyone. Don't learn from that disappointing Peng Shan. He's too spineless." Chapter 865. Ningcheng didn't pay attention to Peng Ruimei's words at all. Although he didn't sweep out with his spiritual consciousness, he could clearly feel that there were many people in this hall far stronger than him. A few of them even had strength comparable to the red-haired powerhouse he met in the Grand Essence Sea. Although there were many people in the hall, no one made any noise. Even friends who knew each other would try to use voice transmissions or whisper to each other. After another half an incense stick worth of time, a middle-aged man dressed like a Confucian scholar walked to the round table in the middle of the trading hall and cupped his fists before speaking. "Thank you, Dao friends, for coming to the Grand Essence Ruins Quest Merchant House's Dao Confirming Exchange. Our Dao Confirming Exchange is held every 3 years, and a lot of treasures are traded during it. The Dao Confirming Exchange has also created countless powerhouses. We hope that all the fellow Taoists sitting here today will be able to leave with a satisfied heart and obtain what they want. The Dao Confirming Exchange will still follow the old rules. The merchant house will take 1% of the transaction value of both parties." 1% of the transaction value wasn't much. As someone who came from Earth, Ningcheng naturally understood that the main purpose of this merchant house wasn't to earn points, but to build popularity. To enter this exchange, one must have a silver card, and to get a silver card, one must spend a lot of points. Even if the merchant house didn't take a single point, the more such exchange fairs were held, the better it would be for the merchant house. Everyone has a teleportation station and a point trading slot in front of their seats. I believe that Dao friends already know how to trade, so I won't say much about it. The order of trading starts from the first seat. After the middle-aged scholar finished speaking, he cupped his fists and walked down before sitting down on one of the seats. Ning Cheng had already studied the square table in front of his seat. There was a small teleportation station on the square table, which presumably was the place to transfer items and spirit crystals. There was also a groove on the edge of the teleportation station, which could be used to place one's own task card. Then one could use an array formation to exchange points with the traders in the distance. In addition, there was also a quotation screen, which allowed one to quote the price of the item and the item they wanted to trade. One could say that this trading platform was a very advanced thing, purely from the perspective of the trading platform. Moreover, this kind of array formation was many times more advanced than the technology used in the world of science and technology. At least, Ning Cheng hadn't seen any technology that could control the laws of space. If he could control the laws of space, there wouldn't be a need for logistics. The item I want to trade is a cultivation technique, the divine sifting pentacauldron. You only need points or any law crystals, nothing else is accepted. A deep and resounding voice resounded in the hall. Ning Cheng saw that one of the seats was surrounded by a golden halo, and behind this seat was the number 1. Sitting in the first seat was a tall male cultivator. On the table in front of him was a book made of some unknown material. The book was locked by a restriction and couldn't be opened. It should be the God-sifting pentacauldron that he was talking about. Ning Cheng looked at the number on his desk. It was number 664, and the color was gray. He looked at the armchair behind him, and understood that when he took out the item to trade, the armchair behind him would also turn golden. Ning Cheng had a lot of law crystals, more than 100 of which contained the laws of space. However, he had no interest in the divine sifting pentacauldron, so he naturally wouldn't bid. Although Ning Cheng did not bid, there were still a lot of people who bid. Ning Cheng saw the prices constantly refreshing on the bidding screen. At the same time, he also saw many seats in the exchange hall flashing with silver lights. Soon Ning Cheng found out the pattern. The silver light on the seat flashed and disappeared. It was because the price of the cultivator in that seat was pushed down by a higher price, causing a new silver light to appear on the seat with the highest price. The price changed quickly, and in just a short time, the spirit-sifting pentacauldron cultivation technique increased to more than 30,000 points. Finally, it stopped at 43,000 points. After reaching this point, no one else bid. The seat with the silver light flashing was number 411, a middle-aged female cultivator. From the looks of it, she was the one who bid 43,000 points. Ning Cheng's heart immediately stirred up. He wasn't a fool. The cultivator who took out the spirit-sifting pentacauldron was obviously a powerhouse who had successfully reached Tao-confirming realm. Therefore, the things taken out by such a person naturally wouldn't be too bad, which could be seen from the competitive scene. Yet such a good thing could be bought with just over 40,000 points. From the looks of it, his 1.5 million points were already a lot. After the price stopped changing, a crisp female cultivator's voice emerged. The highest price on the scene is 43,000 points for number 411. Would you like to trade? This exchange meeting was different from auctions. Once the highest price was announced, it depended on the cultivator who owned the item. If the cultivator who owned the item felt that the price was too low, he could choose not to trade. Deal. After the cultivator with the spirit-sifting pentacauldron finished speaking, he put the spirit-sifting pentacauldron cultivation technique into the teleportation array and placed his silver card in the groove in front of the table. As the spirit-sifting pentacauldron teleported away, the 43,000 points were transferred to the cultivator's silver card. Ning Cheng sighed in his heart. This method of trading was indeed convenient and fast. After the first transaction was completed, the seat with number 3 lit up. Ning Cheng looked at it, and found that no one was sitting in the second seat. Sitting in the third seat was a female cultivator with white hair. After her seat lit up, she raised a jade box and said, "I want to trade a Dao fruit containing the laws of wood, drifting cotton fruit. I only want points." Dao fruits were divided into many types. Dao fruits containing the laws of wood mainly helped cultivators comprehend the laws of wood. This kind of law was of great use to cultivators comprehending the laws of wood spirit techniques, alchemists, and cultivators cultivating divine grasses. Of course, it didn't have much of an effect on Tao confirming fruits. Only a few cultivators could use Dao fruits to confirm their Dao. But such cultivators were few and far between. A true Dao-confirming Dao fruit had an essential difference from an elemental Dao fruit. A Dao-confirming Dao fruit didn't just contain a law attribute, but also a kind of nomological Dao charm. Even if the drifting cotton fruit was a low-grade Dao fruit, it was still in high demand. As soon as this drifting cotton fruit came out, someone immediately snatched it up and quickly bought it for a high price of 92,000 points. From this, one could see that as long as it was related to a Dao fruit, the price would rise sharply. This made Ningqing very envious. No wonder law soil was so expensive. A piece of law soil could make a Dao fruit tree grow a bunch of Dao fruits. How many points could one sell it for? Following that, the people from seats 4 to 20 all took out expensive things. If it wasn't top-grade materials, it was top-grade weapons, cultivation methods, and other treasures. Even Ningqing fancied 7 or 8 things, but Ningqing didn't sell any of them. What he wanted to sell was something he needed right now, not something he could buy or not buy. Finally, it was the turn of seat 26. A pale-faced, thin man sat on this seat. He raised a jade box and said, "I also want to trade a Dao fruit, falling scar fruit." As soon as the 3 words falling scar fruit came out, it immediately caused a small stir. Falling scar fruit was a true Dao-confirming Dao fruit. Among the cultivators who came here today, more than 20% of them came here for the Dao-confirming Dao fruit. Ningqing also wanted this Dao fruit, but he knew that now wasn't the right time. With so many people here wanting the falling scar fruit, if he bought it, it would definitely attract attention. Maybe after this exchange meeting, someone might even track him down and kill him. He had already offended the Beyond Heaven path, so it wasn't a wise move to buy the falling scar fruit, which he didn't need urgently. Therefore, he had to use his points where it mattered most. That is, where he could improve his strength immediately. As soon as the falling scar fruit came out, the competition immediately turned white-hot. The price quickly rose to 360,000 points, and it still continued to rise. Although they were both Dao fruits, the drifting cotton fruit couldn't compare to the falling scar fruit at all. Ningqing saw Kong Ning with a worried look on her face. Moreover, Ningqing also saw her bid, which was 330,000 points. Her bid quickly fell, and the price of the falling scar fruit rose to 360,000 points. Kong Ning's face turned pale when she saw the points. The price of the falling scar fruit paused at 360,000 points for a while before Kong Ning quoted a new price, 363,000 points. When Ningqing saw the price and Kong Ning's expression, he understood that Kong Ning couldn't buy this Dao fruit with the points she had. Sure enough, in just a moment, the price of the falling scar fruit rose to 390,000 points. Kong Ning hesitantly looked at her senior apprentice sister Shan Yaotsin, who came with her. However, Shan Yaotsin didn't seem to notice her. Instead, she kept staring at the bidding screen as if there were flowers on it. Ying Yongxian, who sat not far away, also didn't seem to notice Kong Ning's pleading gaze, and also looked at the bidding screen. Ningqing felt a little speechless. Since they were fellow apprentice sisters, what was wrong with helping them? Even if they didn't want to help, they shouldn't have pretended not to know about it. Why not just say that they didn't have enough points? After Kong Ning saw the expressions of the 2 people, she struggled for a while before finally retracting her gaze. But she obviously didn't want to give up on the falling scar fruit, and even looked at Ningqing. To be honest, Ningqing didn't feel that the friendship between him and Kong Ning had reached the point where she could lend her points. Kong Ning must have also realized that the relationship between her and Ningqing hadn't reached the point where she could lend her points, especially at this kind of trade fair. Even so, Kong Ning still looked at Ningqing, which showed how much she wanted to obtain this falling scar fruit. Ningqing smiled at Kong Ning and sent her a voice transmission. "I still have some points. Junior apprentice sister Kong Ning, I can lend you the points you owe. If I don't have enough points, I'll remind you halfway." Since Kong Ning used this kind of pleading gaze, Ningqing naturally wouldn't pretend not to know about it like her senior apprentice sister. Even if she didn't want to lend, he wouldn't say anything. Ningqing really couldn't play dead. As long as it didn't exceed 100,000 points, Ningqing decided to help Kong Ning. If it was too much, he couldn't do anything about it. He came here to improve his strength, so he couldn't lend out too many points. You're tuning in to the Limei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.